Boys in the back. Boys in the back.
What is good? We are back. Another episode of Boys in the Back. And as you can hear, we got our music cleared. This is fire. We had an independent artist, an underground guy.
Yeah.
Get this done for us. Can we crank this thing up, Frank?
Yeah, turn this up.
Boys in the back. Boys.
This is fire. Yeah, this is sick.
How do we find this guy? SoundCloud? We just reach out to him?
Yeah, he's up and coming, man. I mean, this feels like Lil Wayne discovering Drake or something like that. This is sick. This is sick.
Yeah.
What do you think, Frankie?
I think it's fire.
Yeah,
Probably some of the best work I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, this is fire. So all jokes aside, our music, we still haven't gotten clearance. But Big Frankie in the back put something there for us so we didn't have to come in completely cold. But welcome in. Episode 2 of Boys in the Back. How you feeling, Rick? I'd say we sound a little bit better, man. We were getting some flack for our audio last week. Did you take any of that personally, Frank?
All of it. I've made a list, actually.
Well, you took it personally, and now we sound unbelievable. These mics are so crisp. We look so good on these cameras.
We do. And I mean, enhanced by ArielHelwani.com merch, baby.
Put that lower third right on over it. We don't need to see it.
Shout out to Ariel and Brandon for getting it ready.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Another episode of Boys in the Back. A lot to get into today. UFC 308 preview. We'll do bets. Parlay pals are back. I've officially received the pick from one Juliana Pena. We got Fight Feast. We're debuting a new segment. We'll get to that later, and we're hopefully going to answer some of your questions. If you want us to answer them, you'll get in the chat, either super chats or just regular chats in the chat. We'll do that on the back end of the show. Just want to give you fair warning, and we'll go as long as the people want to hear responses from us. So we might not go very long.
No, they're going to come through for us. I can feel it.
But the good news about doing shows like this on a Thursday, later in the week, we're used to the Monday, Wednesday format, but now we're in here. We're in y'all's ears every single day. We get to react to stuff that happened. And with the fight card, UFC 308 being out in Abu Dhabi, we've already gotten the press conference in the books. A lot of things happened at that. And there was some news last night and this morning from the PFL.
Yes.
We'll kick off with that. Last night, Don Davis joined our friend Mike Heck over on MMA Fighting for a town hall, and it's been kind of going viral, the clip where he said that he doesn't really watch MMA. He got asked, our friend Mike Heck asked him if he has a favorite fight of all time, and he said he doesn't watch MMA, essentially.
Yeah, what he said was he's not watching in his free time, right? He's only watching as it pertains to the business of the PFL. I don't know if that will endear Don to fight fans who are looking at PFL and maybe thinking it's being run too much like a business at this point and not necessarily like a fight promotion. So a little bit of stepping in it, but he had a solution. Don Davis this morning via X announced that the PFL's championship is going to be free, quote unquote, right? Free because it's going to be on ESPN Plus. Now, obviously, you have to have a subscription for that, but there's no additional charge. It won't be on the pay-per-view like it had been previously. So, what do you think that this is tied to the comments? Do you think he was looking for a way to kind of win back the fight fans?
I don't think so. I don't think a man of Don Davis's stature is going to be affected by people's comments on YouTube and Twitter and everything like that. Though he was getting it after what he said. But I think this is a great move. Whether it's in a reaction to fans or anything like that, I think what he's saying is we heard you in. We don't really want to pay $50 or however much it's going to cost, $30, whatever it may be for the PFL World Championships. I think they had their pay-per-view with Francis Ngannou this past weekend. I just don't feel that the World Championships, if they want to grow this brand, if they want to show these rising stars that are about to get these $1 million checks, I don't think you put it behind a paywall and make people pay for it.
Yeah, I've been kind of long saying that they should do this. I'm glad they are. I don't necessarily think it was in response to anything. I think it's just a smart move. I think you've now established what a PFL pay-per-view can be when you've got this Francis Ngannou pay-per-view. And now you can say, okay, the championship can exist in a different capacity. And as you said, give exposure to some of these fighters that are more unknown or up and coming, and then could have an opportunity to fight on the big super fight type pay-per-views later. Smart move by PFL. Good on Don Davis and the PFL to do it.
We're giving them praise. This is me just being a pessimist. Is there any chance that they got the numbers from the Ngannou pay-per-view and this is they're saying, let's not do it for the World Championships because we got X for Ngannou? For our best card ever.
The
this is what we
skeptic
got.
in me thinks there's a possibility there. The optimist in me thinks this is the right thing to do regardless.
It's the right thing to do regardless. It's the right thing to do regardless because I think you'll get a lot more eyes on it, especially it's always Thanksgiving weekend.
Yes.
It's kind of their thing. They do the Black Friday event. We've been when it was in New York. It's always a ton of fun. And, anything where they're going to bring out the giant checks, it's always a good time.
The jumbos.
So I think the more viewers that you can get, the better. That's what you want to do. You want to get it as in front of as many eyes as possible, and that's what they're going to do by not making this an actual pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I think it allows them the opportunity to kind of build, right, in a platform in a way that you don't have to say, this is our best of our best product, and it's on pay-per-view, and you have to pay for it. You're now creating a tier structure that I think makes a lot more sense for their product.
All right, so UFC 308 taking place this weekend in Abu Dhabi because of the time difference. The press conference has already happened. It's 1 p.m. Eastern here, and it's already happened. And I'm not gonna lie, I always forget with these like super different time changes. Like I wake up and I like see clips of it. I'm just like, oh, that happened. That happened already. But there were some good moments, not only from the press conference, but also from the face-offs.
Yes.
I mean, if we want to kick it off, I think we have some footage of Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria going at it at the press conference.
Let's start with that. Let's start with them going back and forth.
Afterward.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get to that video.
We're still working out the kinks. We're early on in this production, but from what I saw, it was testy but respectful. And then during the face-off itself, when Ilya's kind of laughing in Holloway's face, Holloway is just mean mugging him, and he's just like, Ilya's like, I'll meet you in the center of the octagon, and Holloway's just like, dude, no, like that's my thing. I dictate that. Like, I'm not just gonna come and put everything on the line in the first 10 seconds of the fight. He's acknowledged that it's dangerous. It's a great way to sell a fight. Like, we're gonna meet in the middle of the octagon in the first 10 seconds. It's gonna be the most exciting start to a fight in UFC history. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Max is gonna come out and fight the fight that he wants to fight.
Exactly what you said. I got the sense that Ilya was trying to put Max on the back foot, like verbally, like trying to kind of put him in a position where he's like, oh, well, now I guess I have to stand there and scrap with you because I'm that guy. But Ilya, I think, didn't calculate the idea that Max is just like, this is my decision to make.
We got it right
We're
here.
seeing the face-off here.
Just essentially laughing. Max not really having it. Shakes the hands. Right there is when he's saying, he's just like, I'll meet you in the middle of Max. Just like, nah, dude, no, we're not. We're not doing that.
Ilya's what I would describe as doing a lot, right? But I think a lot of people, especially leading into the Volk fight, thought that Ilya was kind of doing a lot, doing too much, quote unquote, putting his win on the record before he even beat Alex Volkanovski. Max is doing the least. Max is just like, I'm not engaging with this. I'm just keeping it. I'm keeping it low key, and this is going to be on my terms. Which I like the dynamic between them right now.
It's almost as if Max Holloway has been around the block once or twice.
Yeah, like he's the veteran in this scenario.
It's almost like he's got a little bit of experience with this. They also had a moment during the press conference where they started to be some yelling. Max was like, "Dude, are you going to let me talk? Are you going to let me talk?" Didn't get anything crazy, nothing disrespectful or anything that we've seen in the past, but. I feel like both these guys are ready to go. Yeah,
the energy is ramping up, especially from Ilya's side. Obviously, as I said, he's kind of trying to get under his skin a little bit. We've got, I think we have the video. Are we able to play the video of the press conference? Max and Ilya going back and forth?
The press conference one. Yeah, we went to it earlier, but we'll do it again.
Right. The press conference one where there's talking?
Not the face-off. Okay, so we'll get to that another time.
It's almost like they need some producers back there, and they shouldn't be sitting up here front. The guys who normally play the video probably
the guys who are usually queuing this up
at the stage.
But so do you feel like anything has drastically shifted in terms of where Max and Ilya are before fight week? Like has anything that Ilya's done or anything that's Max done kind of shifted how you're thinking about it?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I think Ilya is who he is. He's wildly confident, and rightfully so. He's 15-0. He's an undefeated UFC champion, and essentially everything he has said has come to fruition. Like, he does what he says he's going to do, so why would he lack any sort of confidence? He's willing to talk shit. He is willing to put his reputation on the line by announcing results before the fight even happens. So there's nothing that surprises me, and he's doing it again here. He's just like, I'm going to smoke you, man. Like, I'm going to be the first one to knock you out, and that's just how this is going to go, man, and you just have to accept that. And he looks calm, cool, collected about it, and then Max is Max, man. Like, he's not overly emotional. He's a vet, man. He knows exactly what he's doing.
I get the air of like, first of all, like everybody kind of calls Ilya, budget Conor McGregor, right? Like they're kind of like, oh, he's doing what Conor did. He's running that same playbook. But there is something to that, like that visualization, that knowledge of feeling like, I know I'm supposed to be in this spot. I know I'm supposed to be an all-time great. I know I'm supposed to be the one who's in this position, and kind of manifesting that. If you have that confidence, it's a lot harder to knock you from that perch than it is when you're doubting, So
there's a real power
totally
in self-belief. I mean, on a smaller stage, just look at Paul Hughes last week. All Pete Carroll ever does is talk about how he has this immaculate self-belief, and he just knows that he's destined for greatness and that he's going to win. And here he goes and picks up the biggest one of his life. Ilya Topuria, the same thing. Conor McGregor, the same thing. Like, you have to have that confidence in this game. So, like, some people like fault Ilya for having this confidence or borderline cockiness, but like, it's just who he is. And like, that's why he's where he is, because he has this self-belief and this self-confidence.
And people either love or hate it, but they're paying attention to Ilya Topuria at all times. And now I know that kind of is cliche and a double-edged sword. It can't always work that all PR is good PR, but there is a real reality to the fact that when Ilya is talking or Ilya is fighting, people are watching no matter what, whether they want him to lose or to win. If they see him as that cocky, brash kind of guy that they want to see get just desserts, well, you're going to still be watching for that to happen. And if it doesn't happen, it just escalates and escalates and escalates, as we saw with Conor McGregor and others too. It's not just Conor McGregor, but he's the clearest example of kind of like elevating that.
Also, man, the doubt, the hate, it all fades away if you just keep on winning.
You keep winning.
If he just keeps putting up insane results, the fans will come. And he's got fans, man. I mean, his absolute explosion on Instagram and all the socials and going to Real Madrid after the last fight proves that. I mean, if he just keeps winning, you're going to stop hearing like, oh, he's too cocky, this, that. I mean, you go back and watch before McGregor won any of his titles. Like, there's like highlight reels of people being like, he's so smug and annoying and he's not good and he hasn't proven anything. And then it quiets all the doubters down.
If he loses, I don't think it's one of those situations. Like, I don't think the risk is that high in terms of running this playbook, because even if you lose, like, you get one more win and you're right back at it. I don't think you lose too much stock, even if he suffers a defeat. And especially at the hands of somebody like a Max Holloway, or even had it been Alexander Volkanovski, it's kind of like, yeah, those guys are the best in the world. He'll be back kind of situation. He's still so young. He's still got so much time. I think it's the right playbook to be running from Ilya Topuria's perspective.
Yeah, a couple other moments from the press conference that I wanted to get into. The one, if we have it, is a man comes up and essentially asks Dana White if he can get signed to the UFC. If we could run that, it was a really special moment.
Right. Yeah, we'll get to that later.
We'll get there. Here we go. Now we got it.
Please give me chance, Dana. I want to fight in UFC. Please give me. I'm ready. Fight to show. Please give me, Dana. I want to fight.
What's your record?
9-0.
9-0. How old are you?
25.
How old?
25, yeah.
25 years old?
Right, yeah. Yeah.
What weight are you?
В каком весе?
Yes, переводчик. Lightweight.
Lightweight?
Yeah.
Where were you on the Contender Series? The Contender Series just ended. Where were you?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
You ready?
Give me chance, please. Yeah. Doesn't matter. UFC. Can't tell Dana.
What I love about this is, like, Dana's gotten these before, and he usually kind of like rebukes them or says, like, wipes it away. How many times has a fighter probably DM'd him, tweeted him? But he seemed to take this one seriously.
Maybe brings him up there.
Brings him up.
He's curious about him. Like, it's interesting to see if he gets done. I mean, this feels like something that you could look back on in a few years and be like, man, dude shot his shot and he got what it was. By the way, this is 7-0 according to Tapology. I know he says 9-0 there. Yeah. I don't know. According to Tapology, a fighter from Tajikistan, and I'm going to butcher this, Dorobashk Nabatov is his name. But yeah, he is undefeated. He's been fighting in AMC. He's fought in ACA as well. And he shot his shot, man. He said, let me get a chance. Dana brought him up, and who knows? Who was he bringing back to in the backstage? Like, it's just like, let's sign a contract, man.
Yeah, maybe Hunter, maybe the matchmakers. It seemed like it worked. He shot the shot and he made it. So shout out to that guy. Like, what a moment.
Also,
as you said,
dude, if they do sign him, like the wherewithal of Dana White to be like, if he was thinking of being like, man, this could be a great moment that like really sells.
If he becomes something, not even like he doesn't have to become a champion. Even if he's like a guy who becomes in, like let's say he wins 2 fights, all of a sudden it's a story. It's a big
for
story.
for sure. If he like say he ever became ranked, it would be crazy.
I will say though, you know, if you're a guy who's on Contender Series and you're like, I had to fight for 5 and 5, and this guy just kind of got entered into the UFC this way. Let's see if maybe he ends up on Contender Series. They're not in season right now, but let's see if that happens. Or
maybe he did this on purpose. You know, Contender Series just ended like a week and a half ago. He was like, I'll shoot my shot right when Contender Series
it's
ends,
over,
so I don't have to do Contender Series.
Also, you have to imagine now every time that there's fan Q&A at a press conference, there is going to be some prospect.
You set the precedent.
You set the precedent that now they're going to be on the mic every single time. Dana White's just, next question. I'm 7-0 out of Buffalo, New York, and then it's just going to be every single time.
We got another like question, non-question as well, like a reporter asking Robert Whitaker if he should just stay up all night and celebrate and stuff. Basically, just like a Robert Whitaker fan, just like looking to get gassed up.
Yeah, and Hamzat didn't take kindly to that.
No, he shut that down hard, which actually I respect. You know, we want to get real questions to the fighters, but still, really special moment for Nabadov, and maybe we'll see him in the UFC one day. There were other face-offs as well, but that'll just take us right in to the UFC 308 preview. We got to jump back now into the main event. There's so much meat on this bone. It's just a fight that I'm absolutely in love with. I've been looking forward to it for. When was it made? Because that's how long I've been looking forward to it. Since it became official, I have had this one circled on the calendar. So many questions that I want to see answered will get answered on Saturday. We now know that Ilia Topuria is elite. 15-0, undefeated, gets the belt from Alexander Volkanovski in emphatic fashion back in February. Max Holloway is elite. We have known this for forever. This is nothing new. 2 incredibly elite fighters at different points in their career. You know, one is just starting their title reign and hoping to rack up as many defenses as possible. He's already discussing moving up to 155, obviously that being Ilia Topuria. And then Max Holloway sort of only 32 years old, but at the later stages of his career, because he's been fighting for so long that he already had a title run. He's tried to get the belt back several times from Alexander Volkanovski, was unsuccessful in those attempts. Now he's done fun fights. Justin Gaethje, the BMF, back at 300, gave us one of the best moments ever. It's just this incredible matchup that I just feel like guarantees fireworks.
You're number 1, I believe.
Number 1.
This is the one you're looking forward to the most of the whole year.
When you think about guys that you just know are going to come to scrap.
Yeah.
Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway are on that list. Look at Ilia Topuria's last few fights. Even just go back to Jai Herbert, where he got rocked, fought back, gets a flatlining knockout of Jai Herbert. So, like, even when he got in trouble, he was able to show resiliency and come back and fight Bryce Mitchell. Domination.
Yep.
Pillar to post. Till he got that finish. It was complete domination. Josh Emmett. I was on such a high after the Josh Emmett performance, the 50-44s.
Just dismantled.
I think there was a 10-7 in there as well. I was on such a high, I went and got paella the next night. I was like, this dude is incredible. I'm trying to go eat some Spanish food. Went and tried paella for the first time. And then obviously this past February, Volkanovski, just like an insane performance. And all those times.
Never close, just came in there and just dominated the guy who had been reigning for that long.
Brother, he is coming to scrap. Even like the Ryan Hall fight, he was just like, I'm not engaging in this shit. I'm going to finish you. Like, comes to scrap. And then the flip side of this, now he's fighting Max Holloway. It's just like Max Holloway is the definition of like, I'm coming to fight, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't going to be some tentative bullshit. Like, I am coming to scrap. And when you get that at this level with this much on the line, like my heart's beating right now. I'm so excited for it.
It's definitely up there for me, especially considering that Eubank and Ben wasn't made this year.
Please
so
stop. Those fights are not even in the same conversation.
But no, on a more serious note, although I am serious about Eubank and Ben, you've laid it out perfectly. Like you can guarantee with these two guys that they are coming to fight. There's not going to be tentative moments in the fight. The way that they win their fights are by being pressure fighters, are by being on the front foot and being aggressive. So it's going to be super fascinating. Like when you think about Max and Volk is a lot more content to kind of be countering and picking his spots. Ilia Topuria is a put foot down on the pedal, go forward fighter. Max Holloway is a foot down on the pedal, go forward fighter. It is a perfect style clash.
I love it. I mean, just like the way you describe it is just fantastic. So we said Max Holloway at one point was the featherweight champion, racked up, I think, 3 or 4 defenses during that time. But then he met his match in Alexander Volkanovski, is 0-3 against Volk. 18-3 in the last 10 years at featherweight. This guy is 18.
He's 18 and Volk.
Literally 18 in Volk. Because I was going to say the 3 losses are to one Alexander Volkanovski. So the question for me is, did Alexander Volkanovski just have Max Holloway's number? Was it just a good stylistic matchup for him that he was able to capitalize on it and go 3-0 against one of the greatest featherweights of all time? Or are we going to play MMA math here and say, okay, you went 0-3 against Volk, and then I killed Volk. So what am I going to do to you if you're Ilia Topuria?
I don't love the MMA math part of it. I'm willing to concede that there is a possibility that it wasn't just Volk was the perfect style matchup for him, right? I'm willing to concede that maybe somebody can beat Max Holloway if they can effectively do what Alexander Volkanovski did, right? I don't think it comes down to like, when I think of Volk, I don't think of like crazy physical attributes, right? When you say like, go be John Jones, you're never going to be John Jones because you're not built the way John Jones is built. You can't be Francis Ngannou because there are no Francis Ngannous. They don't exist in the human species. They don't exist outside of that one person. Volkanovski doesn't strike me as that type of guy, right? He's certainly physically, he's always in shape. He's got amazing cardio, but the physical gifts are not necessarily what it is. How Volk has won his fights and remains on top for so long is he's extremely smart. He's extremely technical and executes a really strong game plan. And against Max Holloway, he had a perfect game plan. In fact, to the point where it seemed like his game plan wasn't the right game plan in the second fight, in the early going of the second fight, and then completely switched his game plan to drive him to success. So being smart, being technical, having that cardio that's going to carry him through the 5 rounds, I don't think those are things that could not be replicated by somebody. I don't think that's something that if somebody was to study what Volkanovski did against Max Holloway would not be able to be replicated. Now, can you do it as well as Volk? That's very difficult, right? That is a very hard task for somebody to be able to do. But I don't think it's impossible. But what I will say is I don't know if Ilia Topuria is that person, right? I'm not saying, I will get to kind of how we view this fight later. I'm not saying I don't think Ilia Topuria can win, but I'm saying that I don't think if he is to win, it is the same way that Alexander Volkanovski won. And that is one way to defeat Max Holloway. And maybe it's the only way. We will find out. I don't know. But I don't think it will look like the way Volk beat Max if he is to win.
Do you think there's any chance that if Ilia wins, it will look like the way that he beat Volk? So what I'm saying is concrete chin Max Holloway. I mean, the dude, I want to say never knocked down, but like I feel like even Max has admitted to the Gaethje that was a knockdown.
He knocked him down.
But like the chin is otherworldly. I mean, he's absorbed like 2,000 plus significant strikes over the course of his UFC career, and like we've never even really seen him like, because yeah, he may have gotten knocked down against Justin Gaethje, but he immediately got right back up. We've never seen him like the thought of Max Holloway like getting put out like that is like my brain, like I'm trying to picture it, like my brain like can't properly picture it, but like he does get hit. He's willing to engage in the fire. He
got knocked down, but he wasn't woozy. He recovered immediately. He wasn't rocked, for lack of a better term. He wasn't out of it, and has never been. Max's chin is extremely solid. Do I think it's possible? Yeah, because I think Ilia is a special type of puncher. He's a special type of boxer and a special type of striker, to be honest. Like, I don't think it's impossible. But what I will push back against, and I've kind of, maybe this transitions into where we're leaning on the fight, I've seen a lot of people kind of looking at it as a foregone conclusion that Ilia is going to do that, and I don't know if I can get there. Like, I'm willing to accept that possibility. I'm willing to accept that there's a real chance it happens, but it seems like it's almost assumed, and I guess it's on the back of what Ilia has been able to do to some great fighters, and I respect it. But man, Max Holloway is just different, man. I don't know. Until I see it, it's just like I said last week. I said about Cyborg. Until I see it, I'm not willing to go there. Until I see somebody actually do that to Max Holloway, I don't know. I don't think that that's how that's going to go.
Right. I tend to agree with you in the fact that like, can it happen? Of course. Anybody can get got. Like we're all human beings at the end of the day. Though I tend to believe guys like Cheeto Vera and like Max Holloway might not be 100% human. Like there's like something going on there that they just like can't be knocked out. But like to that point, like Francis Ngannou, up until the Joshua fight, I was like, this guy's chin is just like
Unreal.
next level. Like he was eating shots from Tyson Fury. Like he's eating big shots at the heavyweight level. And then like, anybody can get folded. But I'm with you. Like until I see it happening, because I believe by the odds, if you were going with a method, the most likely method that Vegas is giving out is Ilia Topuria by knockout. I believe it's like plus 170.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's like minus 110 or anything like that. But I believe that is the most likely outcome according to Vegas. But I'm with you, man. I don't think that the chin goes here. I think that this is. I guess let's just get right into it on what we actually think.
On
Go
that
ahead.
topic, before we go, this is the same stuff we were hearing about Justin Gaethje. Now,
You can go back and pull tweets from people being like, I'm worried for
Yes.
Max's health
Same.
before the Gaethje fight. He's going up to 155 and he's fighting Justin Gaethje. Like, we're going to carry him out on a stretcher. And the odds reflected that. Dude, he was like a plus 210 and like at opening and was still a fairly sized underdog going into that fight. And like, everyone remembers, we've talked about it on this program several times, everyone remembers the knockout, but like, Max Holloway had the fight in hand.
He was
Like,
blanking him.
he was at worst 4-1. Like he was looking fantastic. He just got on the bike and just rode it, man. And like there's a world where like he's able to accomplish that in this fight as well.
Ilia Topuria is not Justin Gaethje. He is a much more crafty striker. He's more technical. I believe the power is real and equivalent. I believe that either of them landing clean will knock somebody out. But it is giving me the same vibes. It is a lot of the like, how long can Max do this type stuff? And if the last performance was any indicator, a really long effing time, man. Like
He feels rejuvenated, man.
totally.
After Volk 2, after Volk 3 in July of 2022, like it was almost like, damn, like is that it for Max?
I got to take a bit of a victory lap here.
Take it.
Because after that fight, the whole narrative was, I don't want to see Max Holloway fight at 145 anymore. I want to see Max Holloway at 155. Everybody was saying that. And I proposed the fight to actually make is Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. And I was ridiculed for this. I was ridiculed because I said, this is the fight that is the most intriguing to me. I think it would be the best style matchup. I know Ilia Topuria has a date with Volk, or it seemed like we were on that path, and I'm okay with that. But I wouldn't mind if Max or Ilia fight and then they fight the winner of Volk. We've gotten the inverse of that, right? Now he fought Volk and now Max is fighting the winner. I've always wanted to see this fight and I always thought it could be the perfect pairing. And I wasn't sure. Max didn't seem like he wanted to go to 55. He seems perfectly capable at 45. And now he is in the title opportunity of a lifetime to regain a belt that I believe he hasn't had. And our good buddy Oven sent me the numbers. I think it's like 1,700 or 1,800 days since he lost the title.
Would that be the longest?
Able to reclaim it. Yes, it would be the longest that he would be able to somebody would be able to capture UFC gold. Not the same title, because I believe Oven can correct me if I'm wrong, that Randy Couture took longer to get the same belt back, but had made a journey to light heavyweight and gotten a different UFC belt. But between UFC gold, I believe this is the longest span in 1,700 or 1,800 days, which would be an incredible feat if you were able to have been that dominant early and then reclaim it later.
Max Holloway is so hot right now, like in terms of like he has a monster fan base as it is. Like he's just such a likable dude. And
that
like,
knockout was one of the best ever on the biggest card ever. So the Max Holloway rub, the jump from that was massive.
Massive, dude. Like he was going on like my memory's foggy, but like for some reason I'm imagining him like on the damn Today Show after.
Yeah.
But I think it was just more like Pat McAfee and stuff. But like you had Patrick Mahomes tweeting about it. Like you had the biggest names like on earth tweeting about this dude. It like took him to like another stratosphere. Like a guy that people already like, that's been around for a minute, that they're familiar with on the biggest card, to have that moment, like it's just taking him to another stratosphere. And if he can beat Ilia and get the belt back, it's just like him and Alex, like forget like fighter of the year or anything like that. They will be competing for biggest babyface in the UFC. Like they will be so beloved if Max can get this done.
Absent Conor McGregor, who is on the shelf at the moment, biggest stars in the UFC. Like Max Holloway, it's easy to forget because, again, post-Volk, it seemed like it was kind of like Max was in limbo. I personally never thought that he was kind of in limbo because I thought outside of Volk, he still has so many fights at 145. Ilya proving to be one of those fights, but so many fights at 155 as well. Like Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway had one of the best fights of all time, in my opinion, the second fight that they had. And if those two were to ever be paired again, I mean, like that's a fight fan's dream. So there are lots of opportunities. The Gaethje fight proved to be exactly what we kind of wanted from that. There's so many things out there for Max, but what's important to remember is like, even though the path to the title seemed to have been closed off, and now we see that it was not actually, the star power never diminished. Max Holloway is still a name that if you ask the casual fight fans, they will know him over some of the other UFC champions. They will know him over some of the other rising prospects. Max is a name that resonates still, and that star power was still there. Now you combine that with the fact if he gets the UFC 300 knockout of Justin Gaethje, parlays that into beating this unbeaten Ilya Topuria on another huge pay-per-view, he's entering that territory where it's like, okay, Alex and Max are kind of these guys at this point. Islam maybe is kind of in that conversation, but the ability to draw at that point is going to be massive for Max Holloway. Next fight will be a massive, massive, massive fight.
I guess that leads me into the implications of what happens to both guys, depending on the result. If Max Holloway loses, you just mentioned something that really piqued my interest. He still has the BMF belt. The BMF belt is not on the line this weekend. If he loses this weekend, like he's probably done in the title picture at 145, understandably so.
We said that last time.
Yeah,
too, by the way.
I guess so.
We said that last time.
He is only 32 as well. If he loses, what do you think would be next for him? Do you think he goes back to 155, gets a wrestling fight? Like him and Poirier for the BMF belt at 155?
I would love nothing more than Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. And now the door seems more open to that than ever because Dustin is seemingly like, I got two more, right? It seemed like it was one more. It seemed like title or bust. Now it's two more.
Him and Dustin, BMF belt on the line.
Sign me up immediately.
Smoothie King Center, New Orleans, Louisiana. Yeah. UFC 314 or something like that. Next April or something like that. I mean, I'm in.
You can't do better than that.
If he wins, I guess you do Volk 4. And now it's him defending. He will have gotten the belt back and have the fourth matchup with him while having never beat him.
This is one of the corners I've been on for a long time. I don't know how much you've experienced this with me, but it might predate you. If you have number 1 and number 2, and they are as good as potentially Volk and Max, let's assume that Max wins. We're only operating in that world at this moment, right? I'm discounting. Let's assume Max wins. If you have number 1 and number 2, and they are as good and as entertaining as Volk and Max are, I will watch it until you decide not to do it anymore. If it's number 5 and Volk is 4-0, I'll still watch. If it's number 7 and Volk is 6-0, I will still watch. If I am very sure that these are the number 1 and number 2, I can get there with you. And so I would not shake my fist at a Max Holloway versus Volk 4. I also think we're at a point where Max seems to be on the rise and Volk is the one who's on the downside, right? Like Volk is the one who needs to rebuild a little bit. So I'd be intrigued by that fight, but I think I'm rare. I think most people do not want to see it run back.
All right, so I'm not dying to see it get run back, but what would make it wildly intriguing to me is if Max Holloway is the featherweight champion of the world and now Alexander Volkanovski is trying to get the belt back. That's how you make it intriguing to me.
Yeah.
Like if Max loses, then of course no need
for
Volk Max 4. It's just not a fight that I want to see. And even if there was a path down the road where Volk got the belt back from Topuria, say, then I still wouldn't want to see. Like, I don't want to see it with Volk as champion. I love the idea of Max as champion. Volk is now trying to get the belt back, and you do the fourth. I mean,
it puts a fresh coat of paint on it that I think other fight fans can get along with. I don't care who's champion. I would watch it no matter what. But I think that is dependent, in my mind, entirely on a win over Ilya Topuria. As you said, like if he loses to Ilya, I don't care what the path to that looks back to that looks like. I would consider Ilya the number 2 or number 1 and Volk number 2 or number 1. And so I would be less interested and less compelled by Max versus Volk. He has to beat Ilya. But if he beats Ilya, give me number 4, baby. I'm in. I don't care.
Sign me up. Actually, I'm mapping it out now. This is all, we're living in a universe where Max Holloway wins on Saturday night. He wins on Saturday, babyface to the max.
Yeah.
Then he gets his opportunity to right his wrongs against Alexander Volkanovski in spring of next year, and then fall, win or lose in that fight, goes back up to 155, Dustin BMF belt, Louisiana. I mean, sign me up. Now,
Chef's kiss.
let's live in the alternate universe
Yes.
where Ilia Topuria wins, becomes champion.
Which I believe, according to the betting lines, is the universe that is most likely according to the betting lines. Is
minus
that correct?
230 right now
Okay.
for Ilia Topuria. Max Holloway plus 195 coming back. Not to become champion, to defend his belt. Where does he go from here? Volk 2?
Volk 2. That's the fight. Yeah. I think Volk has earned that with the time he put in. I think that is a rightful rematch, and I'd be totally okay with that. And is there another option that I think is better? Like, I don't think there's a comparable option. Like, I think it is.
Yeah.
It is Volk.
All right, let me map out how I just mapped out Max. Let me map out 2025 for Ilia Topuria. Beats Max Holloway on Saturday. Everyone is now like, this guy is so legit.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Next Conor.
Next Conor. Star continues to just blow up. He is a hero in Spain. Fights Volk in spring. Defends his belt against Volk. Now it's just like, this dude is a monster. Abu Dhabi next year. Goes up to 155 to fight Islam to try and become a double champ.
I gotta be honest. I don't have any interest in that fight.
Well, someone who could derail that is Arman Sarukian.
Yeah, Armin could be, but then you just say fight Armin. I know Ilya is talking about going up to.
He's been tweeting about it. He's like,
55.
brother,
He's talking about going up to 70. I mean,
he's got to get to 155, and then he goes up and fights Bilal Shavkat, whoever it may be at 170.
This guy is playing it right, in my opinion, but I'm not interested in that fight. I think Islam is too big. I think Islam is more likely to go up to 170 and snatch a belt than he is to fight another 45-pound champion. And so I'm not particularly interested in that. I could be convinced. I'd almost rather see Topuria versus another 55er to kind of see where he's at once he's up at that weight. Again, like Max Holloway's fighting a Justin Gaethje. I like that level of competition to see like if you're ready to fight for a title. But then you kind of lose like that one crack at the double champ thing, the thing that Volk got and the thing that Conor McGregor and others in the past have gotten. I don't love it. I would personally rather see Conor McGregor. I'd rather just see
Ilya versus Conor.
What we've been kind of leading toward, what all roads have been converging on.
Okay.
Ilya versus Conor McGregor.
I feel like where they're at in their careers, Ilya would be heavily favored in that matchup.
He would.
Can you talk about the star power if he goes out there and beats Conor McGregor?
This is it. The path is Ilya's on this trajectory to be the next Conor. What better way to cement that than if he actually takes out?
Oh, and can you just picture the world where Conor McGregor's return fight is against Ilia Topuria and he somehow pulls off the unthinkable and hands Ilia Topuria the first loss of his career?
It would be beautiful.
Oh, I love this fight. The implications, everything that's just at hand, the way that the MMA world can shift on how this fight plays out. Like, oh, it just gets me so hyped. And then the fight itself is just going to be unbelievably sick. I cannot wait for Saturday. It's going to be it's going to be amazing.
Just to be clear, I am not suggesting that this happened at 45. I'm not suggesting this happened only if Ilya.
You want to go to 170, Ilya?
Belt.
You can fight Conor at 170.
That I'm more interested in. But maybe 155, maybe 160, somewhere in that range. I just think we seem to be on a collision course with that. It makes sense to me that Conor McGregor would fight Ilia Topuria.
Bernabeu? Croke Park?
I mean, it would just be nuts.
Dude, that's
a stadium fight. No doubt about it. That is a stadium fight.
I love this fight. Now that we've talked about it even more, I love it even more just because of what can come from this. Like the fights that are on the other side of this fight just like get me even more excited.
And all you need to do to get there is beat one of the best featherweights ever, and and then one of the other best featherweights ever. All you got to do is beat the two best.
And if you said that to Ilya, he would say, okay, great.
No problem.
Sounds good.
Yeah, good. Let's book
man.
it.
All right. Before we move on to the co-main event, we're not going to sit wishy-washy here.
Yes.
I need a prediction.
I'm going Max Holloway. It's okay. Let me lay it out this way. The way I've
lay it out for me.
This fight is very difficult for me to pick a side on, because I truly do believe and have always believed that Ilia Topuria is championship caliber and is a champion and is a guy who could be a future of this division. But I guess it comes from my place of I'm still not ready to close the door and shove Max out of it. I'm not ready to say like the 45 max is done in the way that I think most people moved on after the Volk series. I never did, and I'm still not there. And I've only been able to think of this in ways of things that I do know and things that I don't know, right? I'm not going to speculate. The things that I do know, Ilia Topuria is a special fighter and can beat Max Holloway. No doubt in my mind. I am not discounting the fact that Ilia Topuria can beat Max Holloway. And I think he has several ways to win. I think there could be a world where it becomes grappling heavy and he's just kind of big and is able to muscle Max around and submits him or just has him in a bad position. I could see that happening. I could also see a world where Max is just never able to get on his front foot and is the one who's retreating. And Max is good there, but he's not great there. He's much better when he's the attacker, when he's the aggressor, when he's hunting. And if the early rounds look like Ilia pushing him back, I would not be surprised that Ilia is taking those early rounds. And I expect that almost to happen. That I know. I know these things. What I also know on the other side is that Max Holloway's pace, I don't care if you're bigger. I don't care if you're Justin Gaethje's size, is one of the hardest possible things you could deal with as a fighter, because he is going to be coming at you with a relentless pace that you know is going to last 5 rounds, and he's going to be throwing the most punches at your face you've ever experienced in your entire life. It is hard to replicate that. I don't care who you're training with. They cannot do what Max Holloway does. He is just one of one. He is unique in that regard. He's 5,000 or whatever strikes it is ahead of the second place most significant strikes landed in UFC history. He is that dude when it comes to that. And so being able to deal with that is something that you're either able to do, like you're Volkanovski, or you're not, like you're the 18 other wins on his record since that loss to Conor McGregor. So Ilia Topuria experiencing that and dealing with that, I know is going to be difficult. Do I know that he will not be able to handle it? I can't say that. I only know that will be difficult to face. And the other thing I know is that Max Holloway is one of the most durable fighters ever. And so if somebody was to be put in the place to fight Ilia Topuria, having one of the best chins ever is a good advantage, is a good thing to have. Combine that with the two things. And I just feel like there will be a point in this fight where Ilia Topuria is facing something he has not seen before, and Max might be able to take over. There's a real world where Ilia also can come out hot and just finish this and just stop him, and the rocket ship explodes. I'm not discounting it, but like I said with Cyborg last week, until I see this, I can't get there. And so I side with Max.
Okay. All right. I am going to lay it out for you, my prediction.
Yes.
I'm going to go very close fight. I'm going to say that Max Holloway's chin holds up. I think the boxing is elite, and he is able to prosper defensively in a very close fight. He starts scoring rounds later. People kind of feel like he won the fight as it ends, but Ilia banked those early rounds, and he got the 4th round as well. Wins a split decision.
Ooh.
Ilia Topuria, but the fans are like, man, I had it. There's controversy around it. It's a very close fight, but Ilia Topuria retains via decision. That's my official prediction.
I could see that as well, and I think Ilia Topuria has many ways to win this fight. I truly believe that, but Max Holloway's one way of winning fights is one of the best ways you've got, which is just punching the other guy way, way, way more times than they punch you.
Oh, what moment are we going to get? Are we going to get the grab the wrist? This is how you box. I'm the best boxer in the world as you're lighting up Calvin Kattar. The finger point, like, what does Max Holloway have in the books? I can't wait.
I wouldn't be surprised to see I'm the best boxer in the UFC coming out. I wouldn't be surprised.
Just slipping punches.
I would be surprised if Ilya's getting off on him to see Ilia say I'm the best boxer in the UFC.
I can't
That'd
wait.
be pretty sick.
I can't wait. We're getting told producer Helwani is in the back.
Is there a line?
There
is there a line on whether or not Ilia will actually show up and do the 10-second point thing? Is there something out there? Because I feel like this has been one of the juiciest storylines going into this. Ilia says he's doing it, and he doesn't think Max is going to reciprocate. Max says, you're just copying me because you're a copycat. I like the gamesmanship. We're going to find out literally in the first 10 seconds if Ilia is capping or no capping. I want to know, is there a line? Has someone put it out there? Who's got the line on it?
Okay, I have not seen a line for it, but you want my official prediction on that portion of the fight as well?
Go ahead.
Ilia Topuria comes out to the center of the cage. He points, and Max is just like, dude, that's my thing. I'm not doing this with you. And then like Ilya does like a shrug of like, wow, he's really not about it. And then they just go on with
I think that's it.
I think
I
that's
think
exactly
Max
what
no sells it 100%.
But I think Ilya does it.
I think
Yes.
Ilya does it.
Yeah, I think he does it. And I almost think he knows that Max is going to be like, dude, that's not the game plan. I'm coming in here.
Is this cringe?
No. I think it's smart by Ilya Tapori. He's trying to pressure Max Holloway into a situation to put himself in a bad spot. Because if Ilya and Max stand toe to toe like that, Ilya is going to win that, especially when they're fresh, especially when Max hasn't had an opportunity to put it on him like that. And Max knows it's stupid. He has said, and I forget who he said this to. Forgive me, but I did see it in the media that he said,
I think
it's
it was
not the
DJ.
dumbest. Was it to DJ?
Yeah, I think it was Demetrius Johnson.
He said it's the BMF belt, not the DMF belt. He's not the dumbest MFer in the game, and so that would not behoove him to do. But it is very smart by Ilya to put that pressure because the fans. I mean, as soon as he said it to you on the Ariel Helwani show, watch that every Monday through Wednesday. He said that he was going to do it. It became the click. The clip that everybody was circulating.
Yeah.
So people are interested in it.
I
don't
think
Max
if
does
he
it.
does it, people will say it's cringe. I don't think it's cringe, for the record.
This
I like
whole-
the gamesmanship. I like the mind games, but I think people will say it's cringe.
all the Ilya is trying too hard, all the Ilya is cringe, all this like
I think he's fucking killing.
I
it.
love
Killing
it.
it.
I love
Amazing. I
Ilya.
think they've both been amazing.
Yes.
In their own special
Yes.
way. I think the press conference today was great. I love the fact that they're jawing at each other. They're going back and forth. I love everything about it. I do have a hot take though.
Let's hear it.
You guys want to hear my hot take?
I would
Please.
love to hear your hot take.
Well, first, a couple of things. Couple notes about the show.
hold on,
Couple
hold on.
notes
What,
about the show.
what about
Yeah,
this
yeah.
right here?
I came in.
Rapping.
Okay.
What about this?
I have several notes about the show.
Actually, well, one other one. Like if we're talking about clothing, these headphones, they're great, man. I can hear everything
amazing.
crystal clear. They're like earmuffs, though. Is my face a little bit red? I mean, I am.
Are you
I might,
sweating in
I
them?
might
Is
have
that
to
the
lose the
concern?
hoodie. It is.
No,
I
it's
got the hoodie
fantastic.
supporting Max, but man, it is warming.
You're doing one thing wrong though. The move is left side on the ear, left side on the right ear, right side because you've
Oh,
got
you get the
you've got
ventilation.
No. It's because you got the cord coming through.
Oh, okay,
it's just the way Frank, audio guy, did it. I don't know. So this dates back. We had the same headphones, MMA Hour days. I put the left one on the right ear. Look, do it right now. Do it right now and see the difference. You see it? You see it? You see how much more comfortable that is?
okay, yeah,
you don't have the thing coming.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
See what I mean?
tip.
Can I go?
You don't have to put it behind. I mean, that's
Go
just
behind
one step too far. But if
Yeah,
that,
that looks a little dorky.
if that, you know,
Frank
makes
doesn't
you
like it because
comfortable.
we're criticizing his work.
I would say
Yeah, what do we got?
this is
Give us
very
the news
inside
and notes.
baseball, but production notes from the man in the back.
Let's hear it.
if you will. Cameras look fantastic today. Shout out to our team at Yahoo for upgrading our cameras in a very big way. You guys didn't have that luxury last week, so tremendous job. Lighting looks fantastic. Shout out to LDG and the other Ariel on the team.
Yes.
For upgrading things. I'm a little bit jealous. I feel like you guys look better than me. If I'm
No,
being
I
honest.
mean, we got to talk later.
Your
Not true.
wardrobe, NewYorkRic, looks
Oh.
infinitely better on two fronts. Number one, you're rocking the limited edition El Nariz Action Bronson shirt, El Nariz Grande, that is, which you can get right now over at ArielHelwani.com. Limited drop. It's also, dare I say, I hope you don't take offense, it's just a little bit of a better quality black tee than you usually wear. Sometimes your sleeve is rolled up. We're not sure if you just rolled out of bed or if you put on a fresh tee.
Wow.
We're not
All
sure.
right.
We're
Right.
not sure.
What do you normally
Here,
rock? Just
it's
a Hanes?
crisp.
Hanes, yeah.
This is crisp.
We got to
No,
get you some high quality stuff.
This is crisp. Tagless. What about that print? You see the print?
We're really making the sales pitch here.
I'm just saying.
It's look. I will not deny it's fantastic quality. I mean, I don't appreciate the
No.
hinged regular t-shirts.
No.
but-
I'm just, speaking
Quality's
of
great.
not appreciating, I did notice when you were proudly rocking the shirt that there was a graphic on top of it, and GC said, leave the graphic up. Felt a bit like haterade there. I mean, like,
me?
I mean, just why leave it up? Why can't we rock? I don't know. It just felt.
Yeah, it was more me just being like, oh, wow, we're going to go plug the T-shirt, and here's a lower third over it.
Oh, I understand. Okay, fair enough. Still waiting for the King of Merch to rock some of
I
our
have it in
merch.
the collection.
It's yet to be seen. I'm still waiting for Frank.
I don't think
have
Rick
an
even
update on
bought
that.
There's an
it.
update on that one,
I think,
Frank. Why
I
don't
think
you?
Rick just took this out of the bag and put
It's
it on.
possible. It's possible. But
I
listen,
literally just took this out of the bag.
I appreciate the effort nonetheless. Now we get to the actual production notes. There were a couple of trips to the well of, hey, let's play this video, and that did not actually play. In Shut the first,
up, Booze!
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No. And I'm just wondering. I had a talk with on-air Jordan back here, and the The skinny appears to be that someone requested on air Jordan, who is the lone producer back here because you two are sitting in the studio. The skinny seems to be that someone told on air Jordan to sit here in this chair where he cannot control said video, yet no one was going to him. And so I'm wondering why not have him there where he can play the video so that you guys don't look like you are, drowning.
He can control the video.
Why can he not control the video?
Now we're getting dicey. Now we're getting dicey. I came in, he was sitting here, and I was like, well, what happened to those videos? And he said, well, I'm sitting here. I can't necessarily play them as quickly, perhaps it is. Is that fair, Jordan? Is that fair? As quickly. He gives me a thumbs up.
That's actually where me and Rick play the videos from.
Well,
yeah, but he's also running. Listen, we're going to give listen.
A lot going on.
Honor,
I'm not trying to create a mutiny here.
Listen, we're going to give Jordan a reprieve. We're going to we're going to respect he's got a lot going on, but we're also not going to take this slander on this being our fault when it was clearly on Jordan's fault.
I think it was a decision to sit him here when in reality you're not using him in this chair, so why not have him in the comfortable chair
I
where he
hope
could
to
play
use
the
him in
videos
that chair.
so that you guys look good, or at least say, hey, we're going to come to you at 1:30. We're going to play videos between 1 and 1:30. Let's have the guy in the chair where he could play the videos.
I think we said we're going to play the videos right off the top.
Yeah.
Okay, so then he should have sat there in the spot as opposed to sitting here as a spectator.
Where he can also play videos.
It seems like it takes a little bit longer.
It's because he had the two
exact same
he has the
amount of time.
other computers open. I get this. Listen,
This seems to be something you guys have to work out.
No, yeah,
because
I'm
in the end,
sympathetic.
the final
again,
product
we're coming
is,
up with these
the
things where it's like, what was your
final
decision?
product is
I was
final
part of your
product is the videos didn't air. So that's really the final product. The final answer is
The videos did air. Delayed.
Wait, you guys called for videos multiple times and they did not air. Yes or no?
That's correct.
That happened.
Boom.
They eventually did air.
So yes, obviously they eventually air, but I'm just saying when you called for them, they did not air. So let's try to get to a spot where when you call for them, they do air, looking out for you guys.
Right, for sure, right. So like, if the production team can be quicker with them.
Yeah, listen, I'm just taking notes from back here as the executive producer. I don't know how any of the buttons work. It's all very intimidating back here. I mean, I could probably try to do it. Yeah, I don't think I could nail it. I did like the inclusion of the videos. I thought the Taporia stuff was great. The Holloway stuff was great. And then the kid shooting his shot.
You think this is, speaking of shooting the shot, you think it's a work?
I think that's almost giving them too much credit. If it was a work, I think it's brilliant. It's look, Mickey Gall got his shot by being the CM Punk kid. He got on the microphone. He said, I want to beat CM Punk. They signed him. They put him in that tournament against Mike Jackson, blah, blah, blah. He gets the CM Punk fight. That became his identity for years. There's a very, very famous angle in WWE. They were in Italy. They had a wrestler planted in the front row named Santino Marella. He raised his hand saying, hey, I want to get my shot. They put him in there, I think, against Umaga. He has an incredible moment. And then all of a sudden, he's now the guy from Italy who was picked out of the crowd. It's almost the exact same thing. So I was just thinking, wow, could you imagine if they actually planted this kid in there and said, you be the kid who raises his hand and gets the opportunity to live out his dream by doing this? It's brilliant. I don't think that's what happened. I give Dana a lot of credit for doing it. But to your point, Rick, now he's going to get this every single time.
And you would know this better than me because your memory when it comes to this stuff is stronger than mine. But like, I feel like people have tried this in the past and it hasn't gone this well, right? Like, I feel like it's kind of just been like brushed aside or like, we'll talk.
He did a great job.
I was going to say, like, if it is a work, the kid from Tajikistan has got some chops on him acting-wise.
The whole thing was fantastic. I don't think it's a work. I think that's giving them too much credit. I think it's organic and great. But if it was a work, if someone said in the back, hey, this is how we're going to introduce so-and-so, do this, I think that's actually a brilliant move. And I'm almost upset that I didn't think of this earlier.
Do you agree with me, though, that if you're like a Contender Series fighter, you might be like, fuck this guy. Like, how did he get this opportunity?
people get into the UFC in a million.
I guess that's true. We don't know every story on how they get in. That's trtrue.
Cage Fury, they get 6-day notice fights. They get 2 weeks notice. They get 3 days notice.
I'm just thinking of these guys who are like also like 6-0, right? And they go on Contender Series, and the Dana's like, you need more seasoning, kid. And then this guy's just like, hey, can I get a job? And they're like, yeah.
So the world isn't fair.
Who's the middleweight, the short middleweight that's been on Contender Series like
Lane,
3
right?
times?
Torres or whatever his name is.
Yeah. I mean, he's got to be like, damn. I get where.
To that point, like Dana's, and again, he could do whatever the hell he wants with his money. But I'm just saying, to this point, like you see him giving $25,000 to this guy gambling, this guy, and you're a fighter, and you're making 10 and 10. You're like, yo, what about me? You know what I mean? So
Therese Finney is his name, by the way.
I think you can play that game all day long. This is kind of cool, and I can assure you of this: whenever that young man debuts, there's going to be a ton of eyeballs on him.
Imagine he gets on a little streak.
Dude,
2 wins, 3 wins.
If he scores a knockout or something, and he gets on the mic and say, I changed my life by shooting my shot, like he's on a rocket ship, just like Santino Marella.
We've also seen the Tajikistan fans are like diehard. We've seen Gouin Maforov. Like we've seen fighters from there have like big time support from their home country.
Yeah, so I love that, and you guys. It was a very busy morning. You guys didn't get into the Regis Prograis thing, but I adored that as well. The Regis Prograis Sam Jones clip that has gone viral as well. Did you guys see this? Have you seen this?
I have seen this, and I will say Regis Prograis has like rocketed up my list of fighters that I love, that I adore.
Oh my God! In case you missed it, Regis Prograis is at the press conference, and Sam Jones is a very notable boxing manager. He's very Malkikawa circa 2012. He's very outspoken. He likes to be very pro wrestling-esque with his interviews and promos. They usually put him on the dais when his fighters fight. He is Jack Catterall's manager. Well, apparently back in the day, he was not Jack Catterall's manager, and he was sort of flirting, if you will, on a business level with Regis Prograis. And Regis pulled out an old voice note of Sam saying to him that if they fought, Regis would flatten Jack Catterall. And Regis set it up beautifully, saying, you said you think I would flatten your guy, right? He's like, no way, I would never say that. And Sam even says, hand to God, I have never said that, nor will I ever say that. And then Regis pulls out the receipt of the voice note of him saying verbatim, you would flatten out or flatten Jack Catterall. And then it gets super awkward. And he's kind of owned up to it on social media. He said 10-7 round for Regis, but I wasn't his guy. And I got receipts on him as well. I think it has upped the interest in this fight exponentially.
He said in the clip, like, I've got some voice messages from you too.
Yeah,
like,
listen, the gloves are off. The gloves are off. So yes, all in all, I would say.
All right. So what are we great? Like, how are we feeling? Like improvements?
I mean, I think GC took some of my criticisms to heart there, but I would say this is a vast improvement over last week's show. We're in week 2, and we're all striving to be better. Work in progress. Thumbs up to the chat. Thumbs up to the chat.
Save that for the other show.
Okay. Thumbs up.
Did you hear the intro music?
To the members? I thought the intro music was great. Actually, I actually enjoyed it.
Why does it need the actually?
Because I think most people
unanimously like probably the banger of the year. Did I misunderstand?
Listen. Breaking the fourth wall. We need some music around these parts, and we're efforting to get some music. Work in progress. We're building the spaceship as it's flying in the air, and that's not on us. We're doing our part, and we're going to get some music. But I think that you workshopped that, as they say in the business, Frank. Right? Frank was taking my I was talking about the mics, and Frank really got. Everyone's very sensitive, and I understand that. Everyone's working hard, but you got very sensitive on me. Well, you got very sensitive, and it made me feel a little bit bad because when someone says your name and puts a period in a text, that means they're upset. So you said, we get it, Ariel. It was we get it, comma, Ariel, period, as passive-aggressive as it gets.
That was even workshopped with Rick, where I was like, should I send this? And he cracked out. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And then I'm surprised that you didn't get the humor in that.
No, I didn't.
So
talking about taking it seriously.
We'll keep this in mind. We'll keep these remarks in mind.
Oh, please. Right. I mean, listen, it's your show. I'm just a guy back here having a ginger carrot apple juice.
Review on that?
It's very gingery. It's very gingery.
That's my jam though.
Every sip is like burning my throat.
Oh, that's what I want. I was just crushing a ginger beer before the
no free
show.
plugs.
Plugs. How do you do ginger beer? It's carbonated.
Oh, I love it.
But no. I understand that. But if I drink carbonated drinks of any kind before a show, I burp it up all day.
Oh, no, it settles.
You're not burping right now.
No.
Ginger has the opposite effect.
I absolutely love it. Ginger beer is my favorite drink.
But the carbonation is the problem.
I love carbonation.
Wow.
No, ginger, even if you drink a ginger ale, it will settle your stomach. It's the opposite effect. Ginger's good.
I just think that when you talk and you have carbonated drinks, it makes you go...
No.
It sucks to be wrong sometimes.
Yeah, no. See, look at. I mean, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh. I could take it on the chin. I'm very good at taking criticism. Should we talk more politics, or did we get that all out of the way?
No.
Okay,
Damn it, the
You
mic's
got
not
that out
working. The floor is
yesterday, man.
yours.
We are
So
not
sorry.
politicians here.
Should we switch to the political branding?
No,
from
no,
Voice of the Back.
No, I
to-
can't wait for the watch party. Frank has already raised his hand. Andy can't wait. On Air Jordan a bit on the fence.
It's
but,
going to be great
we'll-
for you guys. I can't wait to watch
No,
it.
it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. I'm definitely going to support.
What else we got? You got any other hot takes?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't actually get to my hot take.
Please, yes, get to
Okay,
it.
you
I'm ready.
for it?
Yeah.
You ready for it?
We're waiting.
Hit us.
Frank, breaking news. I don't often make strong predictions, but I feel very comfortable making said strong prediction. Clip it off, put it on the
Clip
poll,
it off. Oh, wow.
put it in the chat. Let the world know I don't care. Robert Whittaker is winning in decisive fashion on Saturday.
Whoa.
Robert Whittaker is going to put on a master class. I feel it. I sense it. I believe it was Ben Davis who said the aura is gone, and I don't know what it is, but I think the 5 rounds will be a mistake, and I think Robert Whittaker just appears to be switched on, as they say. You see his physique? You see how he looks? He's out there sparring with Jael Pataya. This guy, you think he's afraid of Khamzat Chimaev? Now, all respect for Khamzat as a fighter. I think he's incredible. I don't think he has obviously lived up to the expectations that we all thought, but, time is still on his side. I think fighting once a year is a problem. Robert has been very active. I really fail to see, is Khamzat going to out-wrestle Robert Whittaker? Is he going to manhandle Robert Whittaker? Is he going to outstrike Robert Whittaker? As we stand here today, Khamzat is the favorite, right?
Sizable.
Dog of the week, Robert Whittaker,
Plus 205, Robert Whittaker, dog of the week.
H-Dow.
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 Wow, this is
H-Dow,
a,
Robert
this is a
Whittaker.
real
Wow,
H-Dow.
This is how confident you are. You're putting the H-Dow on the line.
H-Dow, we haven't done it in a while, but we all remember I was undefeated. Robert Whittaker is switched on. He is not intimidated. Half the battle when you're fighting Khamzat Chimaev is the intimidation factor, I think.
So this is like a Mike Tyson, right? If you can not be intimidated and not defeat
Look at that
yourself.
man. Look at that man. You see that? Him snarling? Bobby Knuckles is ready. And I feel something. When I see him talk this week and when I see his demeanor, I feel something. Crazy or not crazy?
Okay. Before we address the actual prediction itself, you'd never
Yeah, I just felt
do
it.
this.
I had to put it out there.
What has happened?
Well,
You're just feeling something.
I put it in our chat, and I feel like I have to back it up publicly. And
Yeah, because when you put it in our chat,
yeah,
I said, well, you can just go triple your money then.
yeah, but I don't bet.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
this is almost like instead of the
You make it.
monetary,
you're putting the that's
reputation
the
on the line.
stake.
Listen, I want people to know that the Boys in the Back is a show where you get things that you don't get on the
love
ArielHelwani
that.
show.
Wow,
And on the
okay, all right,
ArielHelwani
this is
show,
the
you don't get predictions,
differentiator.
but here you get a different version of me. All right, you get hair down, you get executive producer Helwani, you get ginger drink Helwani, and you get hot take predictions. All right,
Hot take
so you got to
Helwani.
tune in.
It's here.
Sorry, here
Robert
we are.
Whittaker plus 205.
Okay.
You said decisively. Robert Whittaker
Yeah.
by knockout.
I don't know if it gets.
What
to
about
that.
just finish?
Plus 275 is Robert Whittaker by knockout.
What
plus
about
205
decision?
Is by money line. Robert Whittaker by decision. So you're saying he puts it on him late. Whittaker by decision plus 750.
for real?
Yeah,
people
that's
are
what I'm looking at.
I
right now.
think they're probably anticipating if Whittaker's going to win, he's going to finish Khamzat late, right? Like that Khamzat's not going to be equipped for the 5 rounds. That's my read on that.
I mean, who has the better gas tank?
I would assume Whittaker.
Whittaker.
We'd have to assume.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened against Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
And even to a degree the Gilbert Burns fight. Whittaker's gas tank is endless. That has never been in question. I remember the moment that I realized that Robert Whittaker was an incredibly well-rounded fighter. Do you remember when he fought someone named Colton Smith? Colton Smith, a former
boy.
Ultimate Fighter, and he had this stance where he kept his left hand down the entire time, and every time Colton tried to shoot on him, he was able to thwart his takedowns. I don't think that he is going to fight the exact same way against Khamzat. Khamzat is no Colton Smith, but man, people were starting to talk, Laskarov, he might catch him, maybe this is the one. Nah. And obviously Khamzat is way better than Laskarov and more advanced in his career, but I just sense something here. I sense it. Listen,
Wow.
the people have been asking for an H-Dow. I've given you an H-Dow. Do with it what you want, but that's my pick. What is the chat saying? Are they with me or are they against me?
Well, there is one super chat that I know we were going to get to later, but on air Jordan was feeling that we should discuss this one now.
Let's do it.
Aquiles Jr. has paid for a super chat to say RFK 2028.
Perfect.
All right.
RFK. This is what you interrupted us with?
Absolutely.
Frank, you're getting too political and it's making everyone uncomfortable.
You know what? That's what I like. I like the
too much.
discomfort.
Wait, why did you think that this was the appropriate time to drop this in?
It sounded like it was Jordan.
Like we were actually like vibing. Jordan, why do you think? I mean, now you're starting to spew your propaganda.
Listen, man, he can't operate the video from the backbench as well. I mean, in all sorts of places.
Guy took a vacation a week onto the job.
That's what I'm saying.
You guys are being way too hard on Jordan. I will take responsibility.
I didn't know what was going on. I was just listening to
this is my fault. This is my fault because I wanted Jordan to be on air. I said, sit in my seat. My big mistake, I made a mistake, and it was not Jordan's mistake. It was my mistake. I thought that he could capably do that. I entrusted him to be able to do that.
Wow. I was just about to give you props for taking this on the.
I'm only kidding. It is actually my mistake because I did tell him to sit there, and he is correct that it is harder to do that. So I do take that on the chin. That is actually my fault. The RFK 2028 interjection, yeah, that one I can't take. That's not on me.
I mean, that was a ludicrous interjection. I thought we were cooking right there.
We are cooking. I think this is not going to happen. I do not agree with you.
Oh wow.
I think Khamzat is going to win. I'm fairly
interesting confident. So you do think this is a ludicrous take?
I don't think it's ludicrous because I really think Robert Whittaker is like that dude, and he like Robert Whittaker and Max Holloway are two guys that I think of in a very similar scenario, which is that when Rob lost to Israel, everybody kind of wrote him off. It was like, Rob will never be back and fight for a title, and what's next for Rob? He's never going to do anything again. And they did the same thing to Max, and then you see that they get back to the title because they are really just that damn good. And yes, this guy just had their number. That's what it is. I think of Robert in that class. Like, Izzy is always going to be a bad matchup for him, but I really believe Robert Whittaker is the best of the best of the best of the best middleweights and will continue to be. So I respect Robert Whittaker a lot and think of him very highly, but I do think that Khamzat offers something to him that he will not be able to deal with and has not dealt with in that way before. I think you said Khamzat has not lived up to the hype. I agree with that to the point that I don't think he's gotten the shots to be able to. In a fight with a guy like Kamaru Usman, in whatever number fight that is for him, he's winning that fight. Same thing with Gilbert Burns, who I rate very highly. These are really, really, really good fighters, and most people don't blow the doors off them. But he's won those fights early into his career. He's continuing to now. He appears to be, according to him, healthier, better nutrition, better diet, pharmacology. I am confident that we will see the best version of Khamzat, and I think the best version of Khamzat is a problem for everybody else.
Yeah, I don't like. What is the aura gone? Like, just because he's a little bit more reserved and because he grew his hair out?
No, the performance is like he was killing everybody.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, because he went to both
decisions
with Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman. I still find those wins to be impressive.
Same.
And also, I know he didn't get them, but he was this close from finishing both those guys in the first round. And then the conversation is this guy is unbeatable.
Yeah.
Here's a funny thing about aura, and some might say you can only speak on it if you truly are able to pinpoint it. You either have it or you don't. It's just one of those things. You can either pinpoint it or you can't. And I'm not feeling it. I'm not sensing it. So the kids would back me up. By the way, shout out to Oven, who's been doing an incredible job with all our graphics and YouTube thumbnails and social thumbs and pictures and whatnot. He just informed me that there is, in fact, a line on whether or not they will stand there, point, middle of the cage. I'm talking about the main event here. He actually told me that there is a line. Do you want to guess what it is? What is the line?
That Ilya will go to the center of the cage and point to it.
So according to this, it's, said line that they will square up in the middle of the octagon in the first 10 seconds of the fight. So I guess it has to be a takes two to tango situation?
Yeah, it seems like they have to both. I think the line will be minus 150 that they do not, and then what is it, plus 120 or something coming back that they will.
Yeah, plus 180 that they will.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's got to be plus money. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Now the question is, if Ilya does it but Max doesn't reciprocate, does that still count?
I don't think so. No.
No, they have to both.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think Ilya is going to go. Max is not going to meet him.
If it was just Ilya, I think the line would be minus 500, minus 600, because I think it's pretty certain Ilya will do it.
I can't wait for Fight Feast. When's that premiering?
Well, you know, we got to
do it.
We'll get there.
All right.
We'll get there.
Can't wait. It's the first one of the new era.
First one.
New
In,
production value,
16
new
by
new
9.
trinkets, new bells, new whistles.
No, not really. New production value.
Oh, that's
but
huge.
we're gonna get better. We're gonna get better as we go along. That's
Working
what I'll
through the
say.
kinks, working through it.
Yep.
working
Yep.
through it.
We
Thumbs up.
will get better. Yeah. Thumbs up to the chat. In the chat. From the chat.
In
From
the
the
chat.
chat.
To the
From-
chat. We're showing love. We're
That's-
showing
thumbs
love.
That's
up
Monday
to
through
the
Wednesday.
Oh.
Thursdays, it's thumbs up from the chat. Show
Thumbs
us
up
some love,
from the chat.
Yeah.
Oh.
You guys put
Oh.
thumbs up
Yeah.
for us in the chat.
That too.
We're still finding our emoji.
Yeah.
memberships on fire.
Finding our
Thank you very
music.
Yeah,
looking at the
memberships.
kinks, finding our emoji.
Our music. No, I think we. How about this? Have we found our music? Ant, can we make a poll? Have we found
Yeah, can we get
thought
a
we
poll
did.
up to whether or not we found our music?
But boys in the back.
Honestly, I can't tell if that's Frank live doing it or not.
That's what makes it so great. It's sort of like it's tough.
It's tough.
It is
not-
tough. Yeah, it
it's
is
not
tough.
me.
Speaking of tough, the blessed ever. Shout out to Max. I gotta lose the hoodie.
Okay.
Are you
I-
dying here?
I am much warmer than I anticipated being. I can feel the
I
sweat.
like it frosty.
Well, maybe
in
it's
there.
when he came in.
The
here
worst
and
part
started-
is I got a stupid shirt on under this. It's
What is it? A
giant
Helwani shirt? Oh.
Tiger face shirt. 'cause
I thought
I
maybe it was a Helwani tee. You know,
That was the.
Listen, man, I got it in the rotation when you least expect it.
bang.
That's when it's gonna come.
All right.
Rick's
I
like,
haven't
oh, I got
updated
here
though.
yesterday. I,
I got
didn't
it.
even wash it.
Yeah. I
Got it
did not-
yesterday.
Yeah.
That means you only bought it like 2 weeks ago.
I haven't
No,
updated
you were
my
not part.
merch
you
order.
were not part of the first.
I don't
run.
want to. That is incorrect, but I
No.
do
Frank-
not want to tell you
Has
how
Frank-
long I waited to get it.
Has Frank made his admission yet?
that he hasn't bought it.
Yeah, he never
So
he
I,
never
uh,
He
placed
joined the
order.
team, and no one's bought it.
I went
Actually,
through
that's kind
the
of sick.
I got it.
bank
kidding.
statement.
I ordered
and
the
it
old-fashioned
wasn't
way.
there. So-
No, listen, it's all good. All we did was talk for 2 years about merch. I finally do the job, and no one supports it. No, listen, am I
I'm wearing
offended?
it on the
Doing my UFC
broadcast.
hat
I don't know
on.
what more I could possibly do at this
No,
point.
listen, it's all good. It's all good. Anyway, I have a lot of work to do back here, so you guys continue with the show. Can't wait for Fight Feast, and can't wait for the rest of the stuff that you guys are going to be talking about. Boys in the Back on fire. The boys in the back on fire.
Oh, is this our new
It was
intro?
da 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 da
Hey,
da.
what are you up to?
Here,
for
I
the
got
rest
it.
of
The
day?
boys in the back are on fire. You get political talk in the
You
chat.
don't give any political talk. That was you, bro.
No. I'm not the one talking about RFK. Listen.
That was Achilles Jr., notorious heel, Achilles Jr. Thank you, Helwani.
Thumbs up to the boys in the back.
Appreciate you
Thank
joining
you.
us, brother. Thank you for the breakdown. Thank you for the hot take. Thank you
I
for
mean,
the
yeah,
prediction.
we could use that.
Am I just gonna ride with you? Am I gonna ride the H style with you?
You were with me. You're switching sides now.
Ariel, be careful with this door. It will hit you on the way out if you're not careful.
Right, is
Thank
he-
you to Helwani for
Is
that.
he gone yet?
Yeah, I think he's gone. Frank's clapping.
He totally left the mic open. So now we can grill him.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Just getting grilled up every single time. All right.
I mean, can we just say, how about my I was like, I'm taking responsibility, and then I just completely
Yeah, just don't
disembowel Jordan.
Jordan,
on
we'll
that.
talk after the show, man. We'll talk after the show. I mean, these lies to put it on us that you can't play video from the back.
I get what he's saying, though. Okay. This is the perfect segue. Ariel, with the hot take of all hot takes, he clipped it out, the Bill Simmons equivalent of like turn on the TikTok camera, Kyle. He is picking Robert Whittaker
Yes.
to like destroy Hamzat, it sounds like.
Yeah, man. I mean, that takes us to the co-main. I mean,
Yeah.
perfect segue. Shout out to Helwani. I don't know about that, man. I don't see a world where he destroys him. I think the way that Robert Whittaker wins this fight is Hamzat comes out in Hamzat fashion. On fire.
Yeah.
And essentially, Robert Whittaker has to fight through hell to get to the later rounds, and then he starts taking over, as we saw in the Conor Usman fight. Like, Helwani is not off with that. We have seen him wane, especially in the Gilbert Burns fight. That round 2, round 3 was very close, but he was able to get the victories in both of those, albeit however you scored it. I think 4 and 5 is when Whittaker can really start taking over. But I don't know if he makes it through the hell. I don't know if he survives the storm. And
surviving that Hamzat hell is like, it's you just have to do that, then you can take over in the later rounds. That is the hard part.
He was so close to finishing Kamaru Usman. If he had just kept punching, I watched a breakdown from Demetrius Johnson, shout out, where he's just like riding on Usman, and he kept going for chokes. And DJ's just like, if he just kept punching, he would have just finished the fight. And he almost finished Gilbert Burns in round 1, too. And I know almost don't count in this sport. But like, if he gets those finishes, and he's still 13-0, it's just like, this guy is unbeatable and no one's ever going to stop him. I think he comes out on fire. I think he just is too much to handle. If you go back and watch the DDP fight from about 15 months ago, Robert Whittaker DDP, that's essentially what DDP did. He was just too much for him, and he just steamrolled him. And I think Khamzat has the potential to do that here. Now, if he weathers it, if we're going into round 3 and Khamzat's looking bleak on the stool and he's breathing heavy and Whittaker's like, all right, it's time for me to get going, live bet?
Yeah. If you, the odds would probably drastically shift at that point because I think everybody's anticipating if this goes beyond 2.5, if this goes to 3 and it hits the 4th round, it's Whittaker's fight to lose at that point. I think everybody's kind of like anticipating and feeling. I just don't see how most people survive that first burst. Like it's just, I get that Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman did, but even there, like I'm not so convinced of the idea that like what Kamaru Usman was saying about like if I had one more round, I finish him. I do like I'm not convinced that Khamzat is this like first of all, these are the same things we used to say about DDP, by the way. Like everybody forgets that, but like this was the narrative around DDP. Yeah, DDP's got a round in him and then it's over. Like we just don't know. Sometimes you round into your conditioning and you've been in there, and now that you've been sitting in there with Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns, you've learned what the lesson is from that, and it's not to come out like a house on fire. Maybe you control the aggression. And DDP is somebody who I look at who has kind of found success in doing that. I'm also convinced that Khamzat is going to be in the best conditioning of his life. Like, I think he has gotten to the point where he's not going to fight until he's ready to fight. I think there's times where he probably, because of not wanting to lose that momentum, fought. I think he will actually be in his peak physical shape, and that is going to be a real skill set for skill set. I think Khamzat's like the guy. Like if he locks his hands, if he gets a hold of you, there's really not guys who are better than him in terms of turning that into a finishing position. Like once he's there, it's really tough for somebody to survive. I just believe that he will have Rob in that position relatively quickly.
Yeah, I mean, freakish strength.
Yeah.
Insane ground game, has knockout power, can submit you. Like he is the total package, and I agree with you. If he's healthy and he's in the shape that he's saying that this is it. Like this is the best he's ever been at. And until we see otherwise, I guess I'm just going to
buy that? Do you feel like that's BS? Do you feel like maybe he's the same as before? Like what do you make of that?
He looks different, bro. He's talking about he's gotten over depression. I mean, he is growing the hair out. I don't know if he's going to shave that before the fight or not. He seems much more reserved. Like
the thing he went through with COVID seemed to during the COVID time seemed to have taken a lot out of him physically, and he's talked about that.
Yeah.
The further we get away from that,
food poisoning.
Yeah, he had some kind of actual like surgery,
different illnesses. His child is having to get surgeries. There's a lot going on, but
the further we get from those periods, the better I think he will perform. And even in those times, he's beating Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns. Like people view wins over those guys as losses because of how high the hype was for him, right? Like they're looking at it as like he won those fights. Yeah. But because the expectations were ramped so high because of the initial performances, those almost felt like losses. I don't view them as losses. I view those as wins over elite welterweights. And so I think we will get the Khamzat that we're used to seeing, and I really don't pick a lot of guys against that Khamzat. There's not many out there that I would pick.
I still think it's going to be a great fight, though. These top two fights are just they're just so good, man. And I'll be rooting for Whittaker, and just because it's impossible to root against him. Like, he's just such a good dude. So I can't wait for it, man. I mean, it's another just like 5 stars.
These two, for me, are like cream of the crop, creme de la creme. Like, I am dying for these.
Creme de la creme. You said it perfectly.
And we're going to be watching it on Saturday.
And you can watch it with us on Saturday night.
Party, baby.
Watch party. 1:45 Eastern. We'll be right here. We'll be in some loungers. We'll be chilling. But you'll get to watch the entire main card with us. And let's get into the rest of the main card. Let's move quickly. We spend a lot of time because those are the deep ones. Those are the deep dive worthy ones. But Magomed Ankalaev is fighting in a fight that is not for the title. A lot of people thought he was going to be. Instead, it was Khalil Roundtree who got that shot. Now, here you go, Magomed. You're going to have to take on number 5, Alexander Rakic, who, lost to Yuri last time out, was looking good until a flurry by Yuri gets it done for him, and then, was having success against Jan Blachowicz until a very serious injury occurred I believe it was in the 3rd round. So I don't know if this is a number one contender fight. I don't know if Rakic is guaranteed the title, but it's definitely a title eliminator fight for Magomed Ankalaev, because if he does not get this done, he ain't getting a shot at the title.
You have to assume that it's a number one contender fight, but to your point, like, I'm not even convinced it's a number one contender fight for Ankalaev. Like, you're saying you're not sure it's for Rakic. I'm not even sure it's one for Ankalaev. If he wins, they could still do something.
All right, here's what I will say. To me, I think if Magomed Ankalaev wins this fight, he has to take the Bilal route of, I'm not fighting again until it's for the title.
Yeah, I mean, good luck with that. That's a risky road.
I mean,
to take in the UFC.
Bilal sat for 15 months until he got to fight Leon. But like, you can't be Magomed Ankalaev
and fight
You're
anybody
in a
else.
title fight and you got to draw. And now he will have had 2 wins since then. It's just like, dude, you got to give me. And it's not like there's just like he's like at the back of the line or anything. He is the front of the line. So I think with a win,
sure,
he gets the title shot. Do you think there's any chance that, like, I mean, all of the pressure is on him?
I don't think he would get skipped. I don't think he would get skipped. But I don't know if Alex Pereira fights him instead of goes somewhere else.
What I was going to ask, if he like wins by like a boring decision and it's just like kind of ho-hum, wins like 4-1, just not that exciting, do you think that affects it?
Yes. I think Alex Pereira will be less inclined to fight him.
You know what I want to say? I think all the pressure is on Magomed Ankalaev. Rakic
100%.
obviously lost his last 2 fights, one via injury, the other, just a hard fight against Yuri Prochazka. And now if he loses here, like, it's not like this is make or break for him. He's still young in his career. Obviously, he wants the win, but everything to me, all the pressure falls on Magomed Ankalaev's shoulders. And dude, I think despite the odds, minus 380 Magomed Ankalaev, plus 310 Alexander Rakic, I think Alexander Rakic is incredibly live in this fight. I think when he's healthy, he's one of the best light heavyweights in the world.
Are you saying as a dog he's live, or if I give you a coin flip, where do you lean?
Coin flip, I probably lean Magomed Ankalaev. But
at these
odds, I am playing Alexander Rakic. We'll get into that later. But like, I really do rate him as one of the best light heavyweights in the world when he is healthy.
He is. I kind of look at this as like a bit of a mirror fight, right? Like, I think both guys are very capable on the feet. Both have knockout power, but and both are. Magomed, I think, has kind of weirdly gotten his reputation as like a grinder when he's not really a grinder. Like, he's a very capable grappler and uses it when he needs to, but he's also like pretty comfortable on the feet and has won most of his fight. Like,
the Dagestan and being named Magomed might.
Yeah, I think people are kind of like thinking that he's like, because he's been kept away from Alex Pereira seemingly, I think people are thinking like he's this like Khabib guy coming in for Alex.
He's a competent striker.
It's not how it is. He's not that guy. And I think of Rakic in the same way. Like, we've seen a lot of Rakic wins where it's especially like I believe Anthony Smith, where he just took him down and was trying to grapple with him and dominated that fight. But they remind me of each other in the sense that like they tend to pick one or the other, and that is the way the fight goes. They don't really mix them a lot. It's kind of like, this fight I'm going to grapple, this fight I'm going to strike, and they tend to stay in those lanes when they're in that mode. And I think of them both in that regard. So I'm going to be curious to see like what approach each of them takes. Are they primarily trying to strike?
Yeah.
Or are they primarily trying to grapple? Or is one or the other switching the game plan? That's going to be fascinating to me. But I do think if it's skill for skill, I think Magomed is just a little sharper in each area. On the grappling, I think he's a little bit stronger. I think he's a little bit better there. On the striking, I think he's a little bit faster. Like, it's a weird, maybe not faster. Faster is probably not it. I just think he's going to be more effective. But Rakic, man, like, he's easy to, like, he loses in a way that makes it like dramatic, and people think like, it's over. But like, he's a very skilled offensive fighter. I'm a believer that in the right circumstances he can beat anybody on any night. And so this could be that night, especially when you're getting a dog price like you're talking about on him. I think that's a super live thing. Coin flip wise though, I do give the edge to Magomed and think he'll find a way to kind of win this fight.
It's going to be a great one, man. More answers to questions that we have this time when it comes to the light heavyweight division.
Do you think this will be boring though?
There's a chance that it is, but I don't think it will be.
I agree with you. I think there's a chance, but I don't lean that way. Like, I don't think like, this is going to be boring.
Yeah.
Magomed somehow got that rap, and I don't know why. He's not boring.
Yeah. Can't wait for that one. Let's keep it rolling on the main card. Lerone Murphy, undefeated. There's 4 undefeated fighters fighting on this main card, 6 on the card in total, taking on Dan Ige. My first question in this one, does it feel like Dan Ige is getting done a little bit dirty? He steps in on hours' notice to fight Diego Lopez. Gets essentially promised from Dana White, you'll get the rematch at the Sphere card. Diego Lopez fights Brian Ortega at the Sphere instead. Now you need to fly to Abu Dhabi and take on our undefeated Lerone Murphy instead.
Yeah, physical specimen who just shows no
Stud.
signs of really like stopping. I don't know if he's getting done dirty just because I think.
This is still a great spot. You're on the main card of one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year.
But also, you're Dan Ige. Like, what else would Dan Ige be doing other than taking the toughest possible fights? Like,
how far can I fly from home,
Yeah.
actually? Forget going to the Sphere. How far can I fly away?
we have a number of fighters we can call. The toughest possible fight you can take. Call number one, always Dan Ige, and this is that fight. Like, I am siding with Lerone Murphy here. I think Lerone's going to be able to get it done. I just think, like, physical specimen, like, he's going to be too big. He's going to be too strong. The striking is on point. It's going to be a tough sledding for Dan. Do I think there's a world where maybe he's just busier and can kind of win that fight? I do, maybe, but I just see ultimately Lerone having more success. I don't think Dan's going to be able to threaten him enough with the power that Lerone's going to not be able to get what he wants. But man, he's Dan Ige. Like, he's the toughest dude who's ever lived. Like, it's just, this is the fight that Dan Ige takes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Lerone Murphy probably gets it done by decision. That performance he had against Edson Barboza was just a
flawless.
It was a thing of beauty. And I think he's probably just coming into his own of like this elite.
He's a real contender
that he
in my
approach. Should be a great fight.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, Dan Ige, tough as they come. Like, you don't get as tough as Dan Ige. It's just something ridiculous. And it's not as if Lerone Murphy is like the most lethal finisher we've ever seen.
No.
So I feel like this goes 15 minutes. I think it's a really fun scrap. And I'm going to have, official prediction, Lerone Murphy getting his hand raised. Last one on the main card, Shara Bullet, another undefeated guy going up against Armen Petrosyan. This will now be fourth fight in 365. We saw Shara Bullet debut last year on UFC 294 in Abu Dhabi. He's kind of lucked out. Like, he exclusively fights in the Middle East, but he's gotten Abu Dhabi last year, Abu Dhabi this year, Abu Dhabi in August, and Saudi Arabia back in June. Trying to go 4-0 would be a wonderful start. He's obviously got the look. He's sort of becoming a rising star within the promotion, filming a movie in Los Angeles, the one eye, everything about him.
He's got aura.
He's got aura, as they say. And if he can get this done, man, move to 15-0, 4-0 in the UFC in 1 year, like, maybe we start talking about getting him a ranked matchup. Like, there's intrigue when it comes to this.
He's got the package. He's the complete package in the way that you described. But I will admit, I have not had my mind blown by him.
I was just about to say, he hasn't had that moment yet where I'm like,
yeah,
this dude is a future champ. This dude is an absolute stud. Like, he's been winning, but it hasn't been in like emphatic, like, wow, this dude has it type fashion.
Yeah, I mentioned a mirror match earlier when I was talking about Rakic and Ankalaev, and I feel similarly about this one in that, like, look, you got Muay Thai fighters who are just going to like try to strike against each other, and I tend to just give the edge here to Shara. Like, I think he is faster. He is going to be the sharper striker in my opinion. But like, I feel like Armen does good work and like will have his opportunities to do the same thing. I think of this fight as nearly as even as you could possibly go, basically. And if you're going to give me a little bit of an edge on Armen, I guess I lean that way. If you're giving it to me, coin flip wise, I really don't know which way to go. I think this is really whoever gets it first.
Yeah, dude, I think it's a super close fight, man. I mean, the Rodolfo Vieira fight for Armen, like, he didn't look great. Obviously, got dumped down and finished in the first round. That's not really his strength.
Yeah.
But the fight before that against CLD, which I think is going to be very similar to this fight, he had a lot of success and against the guy that had a reach advantage on him that was taller than him, that Shara is not going to have against them. I think Armen's live to win this, man. I think it's going to be a really close fight. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm curious to see if Shara Bullet can pass the test or Armen can upset him.
Yeah, What happens if Shara Bullet gets by on just like another decision? What is it hurt any?
To me, I feel like at that point it's just like, all right, man, let's throw him a ranked matchup and like see if he can really swim with the fishes.
Yeah, and maybe the expectations adjust a little bit. Maybe he's not that guy who's coming in and just starching everybody, but still can be a very successful kind of
for sure.
Guy.
I think the look and I think the record coming in, everyone was just like, oh, this dude's just gonna flatline everybody faces. But it feels like he's more technical and putting him up against like a legit grappler too would be a nice test.
I don't know if he's ready for that, but I guess we'll have to find out at some point.
Exactly. That's the point. That's the main card. You can obviously watch that with us on Saturday. We'll watch all 5 of those fights right here, 1:45 Eastern. The prelims, I mean, like, there's some names on these prelims, dude.
Before we get to the prelims,
Sure.
like, I'm not dogging you for wearing, that's a funny pun, for wearing the Tiger t-shirt.
Okay.
I actually like it.
Okay.
But then I was like, wait a minute, but Conner doesn't like cats.
Yeah,
So-
hate cats. Hate cats.
All right, so now, like, I feel a nosebleed coming on because I'm just confused. But
Hate cats because I'm allergic to them.
okay,
I
take
would
that.
fight through being allergic to be around a tiger. I'm not going to fight through the allergies to go to your house to be around your house cat that sits there and judges me.
M31.
All right, so
He's a
I'd
big
actually be
fan of
judging
the-
him because his name is M31.
All right, go into the prelims. I'm done with you.
Prelims,
I'm also allergic to cats.
yeah, I'm like severely allergic. Like I get itchy, puffy face, red eyes, all
Me
of the
too.
above. Prelims, the one that stands out to me most, Jeff Neal RDA.
Yeah.
RDA, birthday boy on Saturday.
Oh,
Turning 40. Going up to welterweight. I
Happy
know
birthday,
I know
RDA.
he obviously kind of like
Yeah, he
sort of
fluctuates.
skips ropes between 155 and 170. Happy birthday. Here's Jeff Neal.
Yeah.
A fighter that's going to be bigger than you, probably stronger than you, reach advantage, younger. I don't love this matchup for him.
I don't either, but it feels like an RDA fight, which is like he fights every single contender. If you haven't fought RDA, I don't know if you're actually in the weight class, basically.
And what weight class is that?
55 or
I was gonna
70?
say, 55 or 70, like where are we at?
If you never fought him, you probably don't exist. He fights every single person that is on the rise in all of those weight classes. And so, yeah, it's Jeff Neal's turn to fight RDA.
And like, can you talk about just like how game RDA is? Like
Another like Ige, where it's just like,
yep,
sure,
down.
done.
Jeff Neal as well, dude. Jeff Neal is just down for a scrap. Shavkat, sure, sign
Yep.
me up.
Yep.
Like let's do it. Like he's game for it. Ian Gary, yep, let's do it. I'm down for it. And bro, not for nothing, like gave Shavkat a fight.
Yeah, fought very admirably.
Gave Ian Gary a fight too, man.
Yeah.
Split decision loss, I believe.
I lean with you. I think this is Jeff's fight to lose. The path to victory for RDA, I would assume, is just to make it dirty, right? Kind of try and force him up against the cage, maybe try to work some takedowns, figure out a way to get it outside of the striking realm. If it's happening in space, I mean, I just don't see how RDA can win this fight. Like, Jeff's going to be the longer and better striker. So I don't know how he gets it done if that's where it plays out.
Another great scrap that you actually was like, I don't know about these odds.
Yeah.
Is Meltabek Oralbai taking on Mateusz Rebecki. 19-2 versus 13-1-1. And both these guys we've seen have success at the UFC level. Like, is it just people thinking Oralbai is just like the dude?
Oralbai is getting some steam behind him, but man, like when I saw the odds, I was like, Rebecki is, what is he, like 2.5?
Minus 305 plus 255 Rebecki.
Yeah, so he's plus 250. I don't know, man. He's been impressive to me. Like to the point that I'm like, I can't believe this guy is at that price. Now, I am not like saying like the Oralbai hype is undeserved. Like the guy looks the part, right? Like he
looks the part, dude.
I believe that he is going to be a thing. But man, Rebecki has a way of like making good people not look good, and I don't know. I feel like that's a live one. I don't think I'm going anywhere near it, but Rebecki's good, man. Like better than plus 250 in my opinion. The value is on that side, in my opinion.
Yeah. One other one that we have to talk about. Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett. I mean, potential fight of the night here. My guy, Chris Barnett, plus 500 underdog. Outsized, outmanned in this one. Kennedy 6'5", Chris Barnett 5'9". That's
the one who has competed at heavyweight.
That's 8. The one who has. I was gonna say, the craziest part is this is Kennedy's like heavyweight debut at the UFC level. Another crazy part about this, Kennedy is minus 900 in the UFC bout, which is mind blowing to see. Chris Barnett 75-inch reach. Kennedy 83-inch reach.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing is going to look insane in here. Like, this is going to look absolutely insane. My dad is 6'6". I'm 6'1", and he towers over me, and I would have 4 inches on Chris Barnett. Shout out to Chris Barnett, though. Fights out of Athens, Georgia. Respect.
I didn't know that.
He actually went to a Georgia basketball game and, like, hyped up the
Oh,
crowd.
I
and
love
stuff.
that.
Shout out to Chris Barnett. But, yeah, man, we haven't seen Chris Barnett in 2 years. He's had 4 canceled bouts in between. He's 38 now. Every time he won, like, it was kind of like he had to just, like, outdog the dude. This is a tough matchup.
It's going to
for
look
him.
ridiculous. Let's
It's
be
going to
honest.
look ridiculous. I hate to say it. I feel like Kennedy probably just uses the size. Like the size is just going to be too much to get over for Chris Barnett.
I'm going to love seeing the weigh-in face-off of that one.
So good. Plus, I pray Chris Barnett dances to that octagon like he doesn't have a worry in the world that he's not about to fight a man that is just wildly larger than him.
He's one of the most fun guys in the UFC. I'm glad to see him back.
Briefly, Ibo Aslan, Rafael Sequeira. That's just going to be a fun fight just because
Style-wise.
Aslan has 13 wins and they're all by knockout. Rafael, like almost all his wins are by finish as well. There's Abus Magomedov. You remember he was fighting Sean Strickland?
Oh, yeah, wasn't that
for
long ago?
like 15 months ago, the dude's fighting for
I think
like
he was a favorite over Sean Strickland, unless I'm
favored,
mistaken.
like minus 125, but
Yeah.
like, yes, like a title can, like, it's just like, this guy might be the next guy. Bruno Ferreira, that should be a banger matchup. Free Bashrat, like a minus 650 against Victor Hugo. Don't really know.
It's a lot
about
of
that.
juice.
And then Carlos Leal coming over from PFL, LFA, fighting Renat Fakhretdinov. That's a tough matchup to kick off with.
Yeah.
But shout out. I mean, dude, it's a fantastic card. It's just like they know what they're doing when it comes to Abu Dhabi. They stack it tall, they stack it high. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait for it. Again, you can watch with us Saturday 1:45 right here on this very YouTube channel. We'll be sitting in not those seats, but we'll be sitting in some. We'll be chilling. We'll be sitting in some lounges.
I don't. Frank's never looked better than on that graphic.
Frank has never looked better.
And my dermatologist says I just have to do the cream like twice a day now. And
Is it clearing up?
It is clearing up.
Okay.
One takes a lot of time.
It's clearing up. All right. UFC 308 coming this weekend. And we haven't done one of these since UFC 302 back in Newark. Fight Feast returns finally. This time, should I tell them or should we just let the video do the talking on what the...
Yeah, let them see it.
Let the video do the talking. All right. UFC 308 Fight Feasts. We're
World
back.
premiere.
From the formatted for a phone, turn it on the side. We are now YouTube formatted. The debut, Fight Feast episode 11. Let's go. All right, it is UFC 308 Fight Week. A lot of options to choose from for a Fight Feast. Middle Eastern food, Spanish food, but the blessed is best. Max Bless Holloway trying to get his belt back at UFC 308. It's a beautiful day here in Manhattan. It is popping. The streets are alive. But we're here to get some Hawaiian food at Narita. Fight Feast episode 11. We're back, baby. We're back. All right, let's dive right into this feast. Or, I guess this could be considered a luau. Started off with some poke, standard stuff here, raw tuna, marinade. This one had some pickled onions, pickled jalapenos, macadamia nuts. Really good stuff. Great way to kick it off. All right, next up we did the pipi kala. This was dry-aged Hawaiian beef jerky, pan-fried, served with a side of kimchi mayo. This one was incredible. You got to load up a bite. You got to get the pickled onions on there, get the beef, and then you take a big old dunk like your name's Shaquille O'Neal in that kimchi mayo. It's unbelievable, man. Tender beef. The dipping sauce is amazing. One of the best dishes we had of the day. I immediately had to go in for a second bite. All right, on to the spam masubi. This is grilled spam on a better rice wrapped in nori, which is seaweed. It's like all the good parts of sushi, but you're throwing some hot canned meat on there. I don't want to throw shade, but maybe next time I'll do tuna or something like that. It was all right. I got a dunk in the kimchi mayo. That definitely made it better. Didn't hate it. Didn't love it. Next time I'll do something other than spam. All right, we go to the Chicken Loco Moco. This place's take on the classic Loco Moco that usually has hamburger on it. You got chicken katsu on a better rice, topped with gravy, a fried egg. So many good flavors going on. Super savory. You had to dig, man. You had to go for the chicken. You had to get some egg in there. I knew I was biting off more than I could chew. Massive bite, but you got to keep going. You got to fight through it. You got to get to the rice. Make sure you're getting all the proper flavors in there. I'm really just struggling here. Come on, shovel it in there. And then you got to keep going. You got to find the mac salad. There it is. Chicken Loco Moco, the gift that keeps on giving. Didn't love that the mac salad had gotten hot from the other foods, but me and Frankie got a couple to go. Ate them chilled later. 10 out of 10. On to the desserts. First up, the bruleed pineapple. You got to do pineapple if you're going to do Hawaii, right? And I already love pineapples as it is, and now you're going to throw some sugar on it, and you're going to get that glassy finish of the brulee, the crunch and everything. They just plop this whole thing down for the table and just say enjoy. And I mean, that's exactly what I did. There's nothing to dislike about this dish. It just transports you to a tropical paradise. Finished it off, dessert number 2, a chocolate haupia sundae. So this is chocolate coconut pudding served with coconut ice cream, topped with whipped cream, graham crackers, almonds, black Hawaiian salt. This was the best thing I ate. I could have eaten 2 of them. The textures of the haupia and the ice cream, you get the crunch of the graham crackers with the touch of salt. I mean, it was just fantastic. All in all, they say the blessed is best. And I tend to believe that. The food from Hawaii is also the best. All right, Feist Feast 1 in the can. It was pretty good. You came with me. Frank came with me as well. Hawaiian food.
I'm giving it an official seal of approval.
You're a Hawaii guy. You have family out there. You've been several times. You were a little bit like, this isn't the island.
It was close. It was close.
You had a reaction to them serving chicken loco moco instead of loco moco.
I needed the real.
I looked at the chat for 0.5 seconds, and the first thing I saw was someone just being like, chicken loco moco, absolutely not.
Yeah. I think Frank also had the same reaction. Like, we need the beef, we need the meat.
Yeah.
On that, but
it
was good.
The chicken was good.
It was good.
It was surprisingly good. But I honestly, when you said they only have chicken on the menu, I was like, what are we doing?
We're kind of working with what we got here. I mean, in New York City, you know.
But
overall,
solid spot. I would recommend.
The masubi was pretty good. Getting to try that. I mean, the desserts were amazing. Desserts were amazing. Also, the pipikala, the jerky.
That was very good.
That stuff was amazing with the kimchi mayo and everything. It was a great time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Didn't expect it to be that good, honestly. And honestly, whenever I thought of Hawaiian food, I really just thought poke and pineapples. I wasn't aware of how many different things I had. I didn't know Mac salad was such a thing.
That's the key. The plate lunch, which includes the Mac salad.
I couldn't stop talking about the Mac salad. So we got there, then they had the warm food on top of it. So I was like, this is still not it. But when we decided to get them to go, when the Mac salad was chilled, it really was fantastic.
Yeah. We rate that one pretty highly. That was good.
And hopefully we'll just continue to get better. Maybe get some fancy cameras. Because we walked in there and it was kind of dark. It was we had Frank's holding the light on me. Rick's filming. We're sitting right next to people. I guess we didn't get them to sign NDAs on
Oh no, I did. I went back over there. Yeah.
Good stuff, Frank. So we're back. Working out the kinks, as they say. Day 2, we'll be better. Next up, our turf, right? New York.
I mean, what are we gonna do? Bacon, egg, and cheese. What do we got?
Bacon, egg, and cheese. We could do a pizza tour.
Hot dog stand.
Pizza shop tour.
Or do we do something related to the fighters? Who knows?
We'll see. I guess who would it be? John Jones, Stipe Miocic?
Yeah, maybe some New Mexican,
green chili. Yeah, green chili. Shout out. But did have a lot of fun doing that. And it's good to be back. It's fun to, scratch that creative itch, do something fun around the food. You know what else is back?
What's back?
The woman standing right over your shoulder, always watching. The one, the only, the bantamweight champion of the world, Juliana Pena. If we could go to Rick's camera here just briefly. There she is with her belt. Juliana Pena has sent in a pic, which means the Parlay Pals are officially back.
Hell yeah.
You want to throw
are we the boys or the pals?
Please stop blasphemy. She has taken the over in the Dan Ige, Lerone Murphy fight, over 2.5 in that one. So, Frank, if you could do the honors for the first time in 2.5 months, we hit the randomizer. There it is. Frank, you'll kick us off.
All right.
I'll go second, and Rick will go third.
Yeah, well, you know what? He may not have won since 2022, but my man Jeff Neal is going to get it done on Saturday. I'm taking him money line.
Hands
Look at
of
Jordan.
steel.
He moved to the front, by the way.
Was that his last win against Vicente Luque, huh?
That's what I remember.
It looks dark back in that control room.
Yeah, we like it like that.
Yeah.
I envy.
Except for the drink that Ariel left there. Other than that.
All right.
Yeah, he also left his mic unlatched.
Shout out.
Faux pas.
Really knows how to diss him, but not,
That's a pro's pro right there. That is a pro's pro. All right, so you are in with Jeff Neal. I am going to take one Abus Magomedov.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like this matchup for him. I think he can just use his complete game, mixing the grappling, have success, and I actually think he's live for a finish in this one against Bruno Ferreira. So I will go Abus Magomedov minus 142 right now.
I like it. I'm gonna go against Ariel here.
Wow!
I'm
Wow!
taking
Directly against the H now. You're just gonna go with Hamzat Chimaev.
You know, I got faith in Hamzat. I think this is his matchup. I want to root for Rob Whittaker because I want to root for Rob Whittaker in life and just in all scenarios. But I think in the fight realm, this is Hamzat's. I think he's gonna come in the best he's looked, and if you're facing the best Hamzat, that's a real problem.
All right, so that leads us to the final parlay. As you can see on the screen here, I'm taking Abus Magomedov, Frank taking Jeff Neal, Rick taking Hamzat Chimaev, Juliana taking Ige Murphy over 2.5. And look at that, the respect for, I get the full Abus Magomedov name in there. Jeff Neal shortened to just Neal.
I had to shorthanded to make it easier for Jordan, you know.
Nah, respect. That's plus 292. So the boys are officially backing down. And
there is more than one Meganadov, right?
There is
more than one.
So he was.
I think. Yes, there is. No. There is. Great call. I mean, that's why
he's the best in the biz.
Producer extraordinaire.
On Air Jordan.
Hey,
can we go ahead and play that video from earlier?
What video?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you're saying us trying to get the video to play.
No. I think he was asking Jordan to play a video, and he was just he knew it wasn't going to play.
Oh,
wow.
He's in the back bench again. So, yeah.
Man, Jordan really getting wrung out here.
No, he told Ariel, he was like, I've been benched. What do you want me to do?
Been benched. We'll get there. All right, quickly, I'll run through my bets. I got 5 bets of my own this weekend that we can do. I think it's lose the pineapple sunglasses. I kind of look like Elton John here.
I'm getting those vibes.
Yeah, heavy Elton John vibes. The sunglasses don't go too great with the bald head. But all right, let's dive in. First up, single, the one I just took in the parlay pals, Abus Magomedov. I will be taking him just on the money line. I really do. I think this is a favorable matchup for him. I think he can mix in the takedowns, use his complete game plan, and get this one done. Next up, I hinted at it during the preview. Alexander Rakic, money line. It's just the line is off to me. The line is off. I'm sorry. I really do. I think Rakic is one of, I mean, he's ranked 5th. He's a top 5 light heavyweight in the world, especially when he's healthy. And if you watch that training footage of him and Soldic up in the mountains, I think he is healthy. I think this is going to be a very close fight. And in a very close fight, I'm going to take the plus 310 dog. And then last but not least, this one available right now on DK, Max Holloway, plus 13.5. They have an alternate point spread total that you can take. Plus 13.5. So essentially, he just has to win one round in this. Obviously, you are betting against an Ilya finish. But like I said, I think this is going to be close. I think the chin holds up. And I think we probably go to the judges' scorecards here. Obviously, a max finish wins it. This is a 5-round fight. But yeah, the way that this works, when you add up all the judges' scorecards, you know, say if it's 48-47 on 3 judges' scorecards, that's a 3-point differential. If it's 49-46 on 3 judges' scorecards, that's a 9-point differential, for example. So plus 13.5. If it's 49-46, that's only 9. If it's 50-45 on 1 judge's scorecard and 49-46 on 2 judges' scorecard, that's 13 and I win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, we just got to get one round, and with the volume that he puts out, I believe that he can get.
Or if he wins by decision, or if he finishes, this still cashes.
Yeah,
you basically need Ilya to not allow Max to win a round or to finish him. Yeah. Outside of that scenario, this is a winning bet.
And then just 2 quick parlays for you. Jeff Neal and Renat Fakhretdinov. I just like the matchup for Jeff Neal and Renat getting Carlos Leal getting Renat as his UFC debut is just tough. I think he's going to be able to use the grappling, just do that relentless pressure, takedown after takedown, get it done. And then a prop parlay, Aslan Cerquera under 2.5. In Nzechukwu Barnett fight doesn't go to a decision, and then Murphy Ige over 1.5. That pays out at minus 125. And those are the picks. 5 bets for me. I might add in Arman. I might have talked myself then to taking Arman over Sharabola.
I mean, again, I think it's a 50-50, and if you're getting dog money, you might as well, right?
Yeah, and I think I'm getting like plus 160 on him now, so that might be the last one that I add. Can't wait for this card this weekend though. And before we go, we'd like to debut a brand new segment. Am I doing this right on Air Jordan? Brand new segment. It is the pound for pound rankings. I was trying to do this smoothly. I'm just gonna.
Wait, what's he doing?
I love that.
It is the pound for pound rankings. They're hot in the streets these days.
Yes.
Is John Jones number one? Is it
Islam?
Pereira? Is it Islam?
Yeah.
Hot in these streets is the pound for pound rankings. But the good news is we're not going to be pound for pound ranking fighters.
No.
We're just going to be taking it from the ether, the culture of the world. And right now, late October, spooky season, you want to get cozy, you want to watch a movie. Pound for pound rankings, Halloween movies.
I love it.
What we're going to do.
This is in my wheelhouse.
So what we're going to do, each of us, Rick, me, Frank, top 5 pound for pound rankings, Halloween movies. And the way that I'm interpreting this is like spooky season, what gets you in the mood, the fall, the Halloween season, what gets you hyped the most that you're almost guaranteed to watch when late October rolls around.
Yeah, I'm glad you set it up that way because I was conceptualizing, like, I'm a huge horror film guy, so there's a lot of scary movies, there's a lot of slasher movies, there's a lot of paranormal movies that I'm just going to watch year round, right? Like, I'm just turning it on. Last week, I recommended The Descent, which is like my S tier, top tier, best of the best. But it's not on this list because this list to me is about the October, the spooky season, these things that kind of like when I was a kid scared me and that were regular runs on TV or via DVD at that time. I'm old, maybe even VHS. During October. So that's the genesis of this. It is not...
Look at this graphic package. Shout out Jordan.
Yeah, that's great.
This is great.
So to be clear, this is not like my scariest movies. This is not my favorite movies. This is just my spooky season list. These
You're going to watch
go-tos.
this. You're going to watch this almost every October.
Yeah, comfort.
Yes, exactly.
So
Bingo.
You've Got Mail is on there?
Let's go to number 1 first.
Oh, you're going number. You're giving your number one away. Oh, you got to go 5 to 1.
We're going reverse.
Got to go 5 to 1.
Okay.
OAJ
Okay.
Does that mess up the graphics on air, Jordan?
On air, Jordan.
Go 5 to 1.
5 to 1.
It has to be 5 to 1. You can't
Now,
just give away.
am I going all 5 of mine, or are we going 5,
No,
5,
all
5?
5.
Okay, we're gonna go all 5.
Okay, we're going all 5 each. We're not going our 5ths each.
Yeah,
All 5 to 1.
and then
go
go up.
move on.
Okay.
Okay, this is interesting. My vote was, we go
You
5,
guys
5,
were
5.
at
No, we're gonna
I saw
start at
you.
5. Here we go. Halloween. I mean, you have to start with a classic.
Halloween
right?
at 5.
Ooh, that's a good one. Haven't heard of that one before.
Frank, is this my list or your
Frank,
list?
this isn't about a shtick about being a hipster, man. This is about the movies that you enjoy. We're pound for pound ranking them.
It had to be on here. It's not my favorite of the slasher films. I'm more of a Freddy guy. I'm more of a Chucky Child's Play guy. Even more of a Jason guy, if I'm being honest. Michael Myers might be last, but Halloween is such an essential October spooky season movie, and also it is top tier. So Halloween had to be on there. Next, this is a little bit of a departure. I don't know if you would have thought I'd go this way.
Okay.
Idle Hands. Now,
I've
you
never
may not even
heard
know.
of it.
Yeah, see,
We can editorialize these. Okay.
there's Frank.
What?
Is this?
I said I haven't heard of Halloween. He says he hasn't heard of Idle Hands. I'm just saying.
Who
Wow.
hasn't heard of Halloween?
Yeah, see, there's a difference here. Anyway, let's just quickly, if you have not heard of Idle Hands, like my co-host GC, teen movie in a horror setting. That is the best way to describe
I'm seeing
it.
pictures of it.
It's great. It stars my boy Devin Sawa. Shout out to Devin, who's incredible. And
Seth Green too. Okay.
and could have been on this
all right.
list for Final Destination, another one of my top tiers, but not the right list for that. Jessica Alba, like great movie, funny movie, Halloween theme. This had to be on there for me. Comedy horror, but really good. Next up, The Blair Witch Project.
Okay, I like that.
The Blair Witch Project. This one is like when I was a kid and the trailer came out for this, I couldn't sleep. And I have been desensitized to horror movies since I was a baby. Like I grew up watching slasher films. This one got me, the trailer for this. And so it holds a very special place. When I get the opportunity to watch it, it means something to me.
Does it still scare you at all?
It does not scare me in the sense that like I know how the story plays out so well now. But the ability to set tone, the ability to set atmosphere, the fact that they plopped people in and just had them react to stuff, it's all genuine. It really still touches those same notes.
I've never seen it.
It's a tough one to get through without getting some creepy crawlers.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
It's not a jump scare movie as much maybe by the end, but it's more of a vibes and atmosphere, and you feel that kind of crushing sense of dread.
I was gonna say I don't scare like really easily. I don't love horror movies.
What the hell's that thing on your head?
but I don't know if I could do. I don't know if I could do like Blair Witch at night by myself.
This is not that one.
I would want to do it like with a couple people.
You might want the lights on. You might want some people around. Incredible classic movie. Next one, The Ring.
Ooh, The Ring.
But / Ringu, and I'll explain in a second. So The Ring, incredible movie. Another one. When the trailer came out for this, I was like,
when I was a kid, this movie scared the living shit out of me, dude. It was terrifying.
It's a terrifying trailer. It's a really scary movie. It's a super well done version of the Japanese film called Ringu, which I would not say a lot of people do the like, this one's better, this one's better. They're different enough, in my opinion, that they're both really, really good movies that you could seek out either one and feel good. There's a different tone to how each of them is presented. Ringu is more of that sense of dread that I was kind of describing for Blair Witch. Ring is more of that traditional, like, in the theater, you're going to throw your popcorn up in the air because you're going to get the SHIT scared out of you. Both really, really solid movies. Elite tier for me. Halloween, this one's going on for sure. And then lastly, it's my favorite. It happens to be one of my favorite horror movies. It happens to be one of my favorite slasher movies, but it is also one of the elite spooky season movies, and that's Scream. Scream.
Okay, I respect that.
You can't get more iconic when it comes to spooky season than Scream. The ghost face costumes, the mask that has lasted the test of time, the one that you will see on the streets of New York City and elsewhere forever and ever and ever. Wes Craven's masterpiece, an elite movie that lampoons the horror genre, but also is like a love letter to the horror genre, and also a fantastic movie start to finish. The sequels are great. I love everything about Scream. I love everything about the Scream franchise. It is my top tier spooky season horror movie.
This is a great breakdown, man. This is a great list too. I mean, I respect it. Mine is completely. We were right. Mine is like the exact opposite. Mine is like the feel good, like okay, it's Halloween season. I love it. Mine is nothing like yours, but I respect all the choices. You're obviously much more into horror as me as well. So there it is. The pound for pound rankings for one New York.
I'm curious what the chat's going to think of it.
I want to hear what Frank has to say, since you were just berating him the entire time he was going through.
Just berating it. Yeah.
All right, man. Let's hear yours.
Right,
Top 5.
I'm going to be real honest with you. These are movies that I would watch any fucking time of the year. I am a big proponent. There's a song from a band called Ministry called Every Day is Halloween, and that's what I live by.
All right, so like we clarified yesterday, we were like, movies that to get you in the
spooky season and the whole thing.
You're like, I'd watch them in any season.
Everything's spooky season when working with you guys. You never know if you're going to have a good day, bad day, so it's like watching a slasher
Can you
film.
get on with it? Let's get the movies.
So, number 5, and again, I have to emphasize real quick, these aren't necessarily ranked. These are each in a vacuum.
Other than the ranking. But
get out of here with this, like, these aren't really Halloween movies, and I'm not going to rank them, but here's 5 movies.
Is that Frank's blurred face up there? What does it say right under that?
Top 5 pound for pound rankings Halloween movies.
Rank part is
coming
right
in at number 5. We got Hellraiser.
5.
Nice.
Oh, wow. I was expecting this to be 1.
Okay, well, maybe if you would stop and listen to me every now and then, you would have a better understanding of how I'm doing this.
Haven't seen it. Watched the trailer last night. Looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievably good.
Yes, no, I know.
So you've
I'm
got
saying
the
it looks
Cenobites,
good.
for those who don't know, get to know. You've got a main character villain named Frank. Kind of a weird guy. I dig it. Moving on to number 4, we have John Carpenter's The Thing. Amazing.
Yes.
Like, when you think of a movie that takes place in Antarctica, the last thing you're thinking of is how they're all going to get killed by some weird alien thing that came from God knows where, I guess outer space. So they're pretty clear on that. Best soundtrack ever. I mean, it's not Halloween-y in the sense. There's no trick-or-treaters or no stupid slasher thing. It's just a weird abomination that just like molds into people and dogs. And oh my God, it's great. Get to know it. Number 3, Event Horizon. I'm gonna be real honest with you. The only thing that could make Hellraiser better is if Hellraiser was in space. And my boy W.S. Anderson, the guy who directed the first Mortal Kombat, was like, Frank, I got you. We're going to do Hellraiser in space, and we're going to take the dude from Jurassic Park. We're going to take his eyeballs out, and it's going to freak everyone out, and you're going to love it. And then right when you think we're done, when the end credits come, we're going to play Funky Shit by The Prodigy and just, like, blow your hair off.
Spoilers.
Nah. Okay, really? Really? All right. Number 2, My Bloody Valentine. Little Canadian slasher film. I know I was shitting on the slasher films earlier, but if you're going to do a slasher film, it has to be from Canada because they have like I don't know.
The sensibility is different.
And one thing is, so here's the other example of this could be argued to be a Valentine's Day movie. But
I would have thought so with the name.
I
With the
consider
name,
this a
right?
Valentine's Day movie.
However, this came onto my radar because there is an excellent band from Scotland known as My Bloody Valentine. And as a kid, I was like, oh, where did they get that name? And then I found out it was from this movie. Turns out to be one of the best movies. Quentin Tarantino's a huge fan of it. If you haven't seen it, you just should see it. But let's get to my number one. Now, this movie I honestly would watch any day of the week. I don't give a shit. If it's Halloween, the day before, Christmas, I'll do it whenever. It's Alien.
Oh,
sorry.
wow.
I'm not sorry, actually. I don't even know why I said I'm sorry because GC's weird like that. But no, this is Ridley Scott at his finest. And just before you start to shit on it, because I can already see it in your face, like, enjoy this movie for the fact of what it started. Like, the lighting, the casting, the way the dialogue is done, the way that the alien, in case you don't know, GC, that's actually the villain of the movie, is an alien, right? You don't see him very often.
I think I'm the only one who's seen it other than you.
Oh, wow. Really? You haven't seen it?
No, of course I've seen it.
Okay, thank you. So anyway, it's Alien crawled, so all your movies on your top 5 list.
Oh, that's not even remotely close to true.
Absolutely true.
I don't think
Even
it's
movies
true,
that came before Alien were done in respect of like, damn, I just wish there was another contemporary like Alien, and then Ridley Scott delivered.
Of course,
I have some strong thoughts.
Okay. My first instant reaction is I think if we ever do any more pound for pound rankings and they're movie related, Alien will be one for Frank. The guy never shuts up about this film.
Did you see Alien?
Did you
see Romulus?
I actually finally watched Alien, and Frank couldn't even be like, oh, what'd you think of it? He was just like, time to watch Alien 2.
Yeah.
Time to watch Alien 2.
It's
called
Alien
Aliens.
2. Jesus. Do you even listen to me?
I
already know
Frank,
the
I have
answer.
strong thoughts on this. Number one, great list of movies. Like, tremendous list. I love all those movies.
Inarguably.
Fantastic movies. Also, I noticed the, like, paranormally spacey kind of theme, right? Like, we're going away from, like, the traditional. So My Bloody Valentine was, like, an interesting inclusion because that's, like, more traditional slasher. Like, I like that you did that, but it seems like our vibes are a little bit different. You like the, like, sci-fi-y, but, like...
Oh, was this make 5 movies that I want to kumbaya with
and
you
then
guys,
the other thing I would say is, like, you completely missed the assignment. These are not spooky season movies. Like, I would have picked Final Destination and all my other favorite movies, but they don't fit.
Your
Yeah, it's just you
about
missed the
spelunking.
You missed the
And
the Descent.
Wow, yeah, spelunking. Hey guys, you want to watch a slasher movie that everyone's in a cave?
No, that's a
like,
monster. It's a monster movie, and it's one of the
Was
best.
the monster
Spoilers.
not
You guys are just
a
flying
human at some
spoilers
point?
out here.
They might have been.
You guys are gonna hate my list. You guys are gonna.
No, I don't
Should we
think
just
so.
skip it?
Mine is like as like Hollywood like corporate as it gets. Like I feel like mine is Frank's is just like movies. Here they are.
Here's some movies.
Mine is like this is so Halloween and seasonally, and then you're sort of like
I'm in the middle somewhere. Yeah.
Let's kick it off though. Number 5, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Classic.
Despite what the name says, this is obviously a Halloween
Shocker.
movie. Pumpkin King, all the above. I mean, it just gets me. This is what I'm talking about, Frank. You're talking about like, this isn't a great movie.
I didn't say that.
I'm
It's a
talking about
Christmas movie.
movies that I want to watch around Halloween time that just get me in the season. And here's a controversy. We're going to kick it off at number 4 with a controversy. Not actually a movie, but I have to watch it every year.
What is this?
It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great soundtrack, great story. I watch almost all the Charlie Browns, like Thanksgiving,
yeah.
Christmas. I'll even do a Valentine's Day every once in a while. But I mean, it's just a way to set the tone for the season. Absolute classic. You guys say I don't like old stuff. Charlie Brown was made in the 60s. Still lives up to this day. Number 3, we're doing a double feature. Hocus Pocus, not only 1, but also 2. Disney classic. Didn't think they could do any better than the first one. Got all the same actresses back for 2. Remade it 2022. Full
Just
circle
squeeze
type
2
stuff.
movies in one slot? Like, what the hell?
I did
My
that too,
list,
so
Frank.
I'm okay with it.
My list. You go and watch Alien over there. My list. Hocus Pocus 1 and 2. Number 2, I mean, you're going to have to be a real one to recognize this one. Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Absolute classic. Didn't see it until the first time last year. Couldn't have enjoyed it more. My UK fans out there that are watching right now will know how great Wallace and Gromit is.
Is Chicken Little the last one? Just tell me now.
And then you're throwing in a little Halloween theme. It's just an all-time classic. All of these films you could also watch with your children,
these are family-friendly.
which you guys both have. I'm not about completely just ruining my pants, shitting myself, scared. Like I like to feel the season. I like to enjoy it. But number one, I am going with a horror movie.
Okay.
And aptly named, I'm going with Halloween.
We shared one.
We shared one, and you can make fun of me all you want that this is so cliche, this list of just like the corporate machine of Halloween. Let's get it out, seasonal things. Halloween, though, is an absolute classic.
Break it down for us. Why?
Indie. Small movie.
Well, it's an independent film that only took 21 days to film, Frank, and then it ended up generating $70 million, and it was one of the highest profiting independent films of all time. Jamie Lee Curtis, shout out.
Okay, real quick.
Soundtrack as well.
The Mask. Who was the Mask of?
William Shatner.
Okay, this was a question for GC.
He took it right out of my mouth.
No.
No, I did not read the facts about Halloween in the bathroom on our weekly newsletter from Yahoo. No, I didn't do that. You just play that music though. I'm getting in the season.
Who made the music?
Look at you, Frank.
Wasn't it Carpenter himself? Did I make that up?
Exactly. This is where I'm like, I'm a Halloween fan. It's number one on my pound for. Get the hell out of here.
You're just like the worst.
He knew it.
Man.
He knew it. He knew it.
He's just like why do we have to do this, man? Go watch My Bloody Valentine for God's sake.
It's a great movie.
Jesus, I mean, like a guy can't appreciate a movie. He has to know who made the score, who did everything.
Chicken Little is what you really wanted to put on there.
Listen, Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit is essentially just Chicken Little Halloween version.
I love it.
We have to post these because I feel like
we need some convo.
There's definitely going to be.
I feel like, I'll be honest, I feel like each of us had a list that was uniquely ours, and I can appreciate.
Look at this. There's the list right there. Halloween 1 for me, Scream for Rick, Alien for Frank. I love this.
Could you take these lists without our names and faces attached?
100,000%.
Yes,
Okay.
I really think so. I think mine is so obviously me, and then Rick's. I think you could get y'all's two mixed, but I think the fact you have Hellraiser on there and Alien 1 is
nobody would confuse me for having Alien as the top of my Halloween
True.
movie list.
You had your chance, man.
Nobody would
Scream.
put that on me. Yeah, I mean, I would put one of the most iconic horror films of all
Matthew Lillard,
time.
shout out. He stole that show.
Yeah, he's
Scream,
great.
literally, and Halloween, like one of the most iconic movies in Frank's over here.
Yeah. Alien. Missed the assignment, but
we got next week.
We did what we did.
We got next week.
Frank's. What's next week? Should we tease them? What are we doing next week, ranking wise?
Well, next week our show is literally on Halloween.
So, what's the category? What are we going to do?
I feel like Halloween candy is a layup. Man.
All right, there it is. Halloween candy. Frank's going to come up with something that's not Halloween. He's going to say. He's going to say.
Yeah, he's going to be like,
toothbrush.
I could get these whenever.
He's going to say something you don't even get that much at Halloween. He's going to say
never heard of
he's going to say
before.
push pop. He's going to say push pop. I love it. That's what I love.
Neighborhood you grew up
Anytime.
in. That was a staple.
All right,
push pops. Wow.
Here we go. I mean, I'm looking at the chat right now. Halloween was only good because Jamie Lee Curtis was so okay. I love it. GC Jack Skellington is amazing. Look at that.
Your list is very.
Were-Rabbit is a comedy though, and someone says, "Nah, GC is right." All right, look at this.
Yeah,
doesn't get better than Halloween.
You've created dissent in the chat.
I love it. Let's get all the
thumbs
dissent.
up to the chat.
All right, some best of the rests.
Yeah. What else
That almost made it. Mine was Scream.
Friday
the 13th. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Shout out. Real ones know. Real ones know. For you, I thought we were going to go this. I almost made it my one just because of you. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Shout out to Amityville. Amityville.
There's a movie called the Amityville Horror.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's a great one.
I was going through the list and I don't know why I got that confused.
that
Yes,
one's
Amityville Horror Show. I'm sorry. Halloween Town High. Shout out to all those.
Halloweeny, you said? Transylvania?
Halloweeny, another good one. Shout out if we're going the Burton route. What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, that's a great one.
A classic.
This is not a Halloween movie, but I just they do Huluween, and I watched The Happening the other night.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you guys liked it?
I like The Happening.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, you should.
That's Wahlberg and the trees and all that.
Yeah.
I like it. Listen. I'm a bit of an M. Night Shyamalan apologist.
Yeah. Okay,
So-
I get it. Then I won't speak.
I can't speak. I'll get in trouble. Anything I say will get me in trouble.
I thought it was dog shit.
That's not the first
I
time.
mean, they happen to go outside and like it's just like, oh, the storm passed us. We lived, and everyone
Mother
else
Nature
died.
had let up and forgive them.
Mother Nature, it's Mark Wahlberg. I'll finally let up. Get out of here.
I left just a lot of like traditional horror movies off mine. As I said, like Final Destination is like my core like series. I would have loved to put it on there, but that feels like a more evergreen year round.
Carrie?
Carrie is a definite Halloween one. Trick or Treat is a fantastic one.
I haven't seen that, but I saw that on a bunch of lists.
Really, really good. It just missed the cut for me. All the slasher films, all the Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, like that's all in there for me. But again, those for me are kind of year round. I know Frank, didn't follow the assignment and put all his year round films on there for me.
Exorcist,
Exorcist.
The Entity. There's a few that it didn't make the list because this is pound for pound, and as we all know, pound for pound
Exorcist
is a very
could have been
strict
such a good number one instead of Alien. Like it actually makes sense as a horror movie. Like it could have been
bursting out of my chest. I want you to remember that.
Yeah, is it going to happen at Halloween time or is it going to happen in the middle of February?
I feel a little queasy.
I'm out here fighting for my life. Larry Bird in the chat said The Happening was trash. You guys got shit taste. I'm like, did I not just say it was terrible? Howard Diskoff said Haunted Mansion with Dr. Dolittle. Obviously talking about Eddie Murphy. Cross says Jeepers Creepers.
Ooh, Jeepers Creepers, not bad.
Paranormal Activity.
Shining also was a close one on the list for me.
A super chat from Aquiles Jr. says Elvira, Mistress of Darkness. Elvira, Mistress of Darkness is goated. No Jason Love. The Exorcist. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Shout out Leatherface.
These are all
Beetlejuice. Monster House.
What's Monster House?
Not a movie worth watching.
Oh.
I walked out of that one.
Thanksgiving. Gobble Gobble MFers. Freddy friggin' Krueger, yo.
Yeah, Freddy versus Jason is more of a comedy than a horror, but I love that one.
They're all funny.
Someone said, yeah, Amityville is scary. Music is very scary to me.
Yeah,
Shout out to What Willie Thinks. I guess that is What Willie Thinks right there. Freddy v. Jason.
Freddy v. Jason.
Howard Diskoff recognizes Scooby-Doo.
Jason Goes to Hell.
Larry Bird.
Jason Goes to Hell. It's
Larry Bird again in the trash. Dude, your list was so trash it made me
just call
mad.
it the trash?
Your list or
I don't know.
You just refer to the chat as the trash.
The trash. Sorry, no Child's Play. Can you discuss
Shopping Mall? That's a good one.
Can you discuss some MMA? This is kind of shit, eh? Yeah, I mean, we only spent
he
the
probably
first.
likes My Bloody Valentine.
We only spent the first hour and 40 minutes doing that.
We do have some questions. That
Who's the most scary? Who's the scariest fighter in the UFC or in MMA? Is it Francis?
Alex Pereira.
Alex Pereira? Yeah, that's probably a good answer.
All right, Frank, let's rip the super chats and get on out of here, huh?
All right, so first, we want to give a shout out to Tech. He gifted 10 memberships.
Wow.
Shout out, Tech. Thank you.
Very apropos to the Halloween season. I appreciate that. The chat wanted GC to start messing around with Ariel's toys on the desk, but that was before they knew that Ariel was here, so if you don't want to do that, that's great.
Slowly but surely.
You already shifted some of them.
Uh-oh.
Mason asked, for Ilya, is there a circumstance where he wins the fight but loses in the eyes of the fans?
No.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
If you beat Volk and Max Holloway, like I don't see how you've lost.
If it's like a decision that he like doesn't, that people like don't think he actually won, that would be like the
still
only
beat
way.
Max.
Yeah.
And he's still gonna just move on.
Yeah.
Mason follows that up with, can we introduce the Frank intro to the AH show?
Yeah. Oh, as Ariel's music?
We're going to have to clip that off. And
we haven't talked about what Frank's fee is going to be for this.
I don't know why it's called the Frank intro. Like, I picked it out, yes, but okay.
Yeah, we haven't talked about what the fee is going to be for that to be played. We haven't discussed with the artist yet.
This one's from Rick. It's by Kenny, and he says...
For Rick or from Rick?
For Rick.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Rick, why did Challenge Era 1 perform so poorly?
This is a fantastic question. Challenge Era 1 was loaded, but they just weren't equipped for a modern game. And politically, they weren't able to align themselves with the right people. Challenge Era 4 and Challenge Era 3 have been playing this game and building relationships and over have these kind of ties that they can throw back to, the Vacation Alliance being the most prominent of them. And so they just didn't have the numbers on their side, and they didn't have enough of a strong alliance with Challenge Era 2. They kind of assumed it was there, but they didn't solidify it. Once they started falling off, they were ripe for the picking, but Rachel's a gangster and still around. So, they weren't ready for the political game. They were equipped, like, strength-wise, but they weren't ready for the political game.
Nice. Also, just wanted to make a quick shout out. We did get 15 new members.
Let's go.
Can't list them all, but we do have Shane Adams, David Woods, Jason Gomez, and those are all officially knows-it-alls now. Which
wow, knows-it-alls.
I'm
Jason
not even
Gomez.
a knows-it-all, so wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Jason Gomez. What were the other names?
Chris Bocci asked, these are some questions for New York Rick on horror movies. Are the Terrifier movies too much?
No. Love them.
Or can you see them for what they are?
I love the Terrifier series. I have not seen 3 yet. I'm looking forward to seeing 3. I like all the different forms of horror. Like I'm a fan of like, whether it be the slasher film, even the like, sci-fi horror that Frank is talking about with Alien. Like I'm into all the different genres. The like over the top gore, grotesque kind of thing is in my wheelhouse as well. I love what the Terrifier series has done. And we talked about Halloween being like a small film that became big. The budget on Terrifier is small as well. And they were able to parlay that into like mainstream kind of success. There's a cap to that, right? Like not everybody, your grandma's not going to go watch the Terrifier series, but there's enough of us crazy people out there that love it, and I'm a fan of what they're doing.
My favorite thing about the Terrifier, real quick, is the idea that when they were doing the screenings for Terrifier 1 and 2, it was like all over the internet about people are throwing up while watching this, they're having to leave, and it's like, how do you top that? Well, for Terrifier 3, they were like, some of the cast members were getting sick during the filming of Terrifier 3. I'm like, they've done it. They just keep turning that knob. Moving on, though, we have Jason. What are your guys' thoughts? It's just Jason. Okay. I know. Now I'm a little worried. What are your guys' thoughts on Don Davis saying he doesn't watch MMA other than PFL?
Yeah, we covered this at the top, but I think, worth kind of readdressing and reiterating. Like, I don't think that's going to win you over the fans. I understand the intention. I get what he's saying. Like, I'm not watching the competitor's product, but if I could just suggest, like, watch the competitor's product, like understand the space and show that to fight fans that you are a fight fan as well. Do I think do I think it's some kind of like big ringing indictment on him? No, probably not. But I just think it was probably not the best way to have that come out.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's just like it's always going to get clipped off and played again.
Yeah.
Howard wants to know, what up, Rick? What's your favorite MTG color combo and commander / favorite commander to whip out on game night? Shout out to Frank for the beatboxing.
The chat understands me. We're talking horror movies. We're talking challenge. We're talking MTG, Magic the Gathering. I'm not a commander guy.
What?
I'm sorry to break your heart. I play alchemy only. I only play 60-card decks. I don't play 100-card decks. There are times where they're doing like a midweek thing, and I'll jump in on a commander deck, but it's built from scratch at that moment. So I don't really play commander. My favorite combo right now, I'm running like a blue-white aura combo where I'm dropping a lot of like low mana creatures and then adding enchantments to them and pumping them with enchantments. It's really going well for me. I'm enjoying it a lot.
I have no idea what the fuck you just
blue-white.
said.
It's all
blue-white.
No clue.
Blue-white is great.
Shout out.
Then we do have a result from the music poll that you asked for earlier. 35% say keep it.
Ooh.
28% say change it to Ariel singing the KSI song. And the rest say look for something else.
Okay.
All right.
What is the rest? Is that the highest
Yikes.
number? Yes.
No, 35% was the highest.
Okay.
What was the
Keep
rest came in at?
Look, dude, I just reading what was given to me.
I'm
right?
in the thick of it.
Oh, no.
Everybody
Is he back?
knows.
Yes.
Wow.
Sometimes it. What do you mean? Am I back? I'm always
35
here.
plus
They cut to it before. And your cup wasn't there.
No.
What do you
Technically,
mean dirty?
38% said find something new, huh?
No, they said they like it.
No. 35. If it was 35%.
So Beastman says there is a new Wallace and Gromit.
We can do math back here, Frankie. They all want something new.
There is a new Wallace and Gromit coming onto Netflix for Christmas this year. So
I'm so there. Are you kidding me? Kylian Mbappe will be there. No
I
matter what.
appreciate your appreciation of holidays. Like you are one of my top tier like holiday people, and I respect it.
Wallace and Gromit is also just it's so good. It's so good. The cheese.
You're up for the festivities around these holidays.
All right.
Is that it?
I think that's it, man. Frankie,
that is it.
Frankie, you can hit our music.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Da-na-na-na-na. Ole banana. Da-na-ba-da-ba. How does that song go, Frank?
Is that the outro?
There it is.
Oh,
Ole
wow.
banana.
Okay.
Well,
We're cutting the axe on Frank's music.
I thought that was gonna be.
Yo,
Frank.
I like this song. You guys should keep it.
This is a good song.
This is hot.
Yeah, this is Hot in the Street.
I don't know. I've heard this before. I've never really liked
Can we
it.
get a full MP3 version of ArielHelwani singing the KSI song? Is that a possibility?
You mock, but I think it's a banger, and it's currently, I think, 84 on the top 100. So.
Yeah, people are hate listening, though. They're doing it to clown it, huh?
Listen, as the great Paris Hilton once said, the haters, they make us famous.
I feel like we should have ended right there.
Yeah, I feel like we got a lot of music to kill here.
Keep going. It's a timing thing. You gotta.
No. We're working.
I
through
know.
it.
Well, I honestly expected to hear the Frank song, and we would have been out of here in like 30 seconds.
That was vetoed.
All right.
Wow, vetoed. And the EP said no.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
He came in here right at the end. He was like, "Hit my music, Frank."
Wow.
Like Casablanca. He's like,
If
"Hit
you
it,
believe
Sam."
this, I've got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn.
Is there a bridge for sale?
There's 7
No,
bridges
there
in
isn't.
Brooklyn.
There's no.
Have you gotten
I don't
any?
Contrary to popular belief, Jews don't own everything.
Wow. Have you gotten any responses
There
to
he
the
That's him on Fox.
to the hot take?
Which one?
To the prediction.
I don't look at comments. I don't read the comments.
No, I was wondering if maybe you got a direct message. If you haven't, then okay.
Oh, why?
We'll see.
Is someone going to direct message me?
Oh no.
Who's
No,
gonna do
I don't know.
Who's going
It's
to
a
direct
hot
message
take.
me? His
It's a hot
manager?
take, man.
Who's his
Put the
manager?
H down on the line.
What does that even mean? I don't bet. I'm telling
it was
you.
just
You
on
ate
the show.
shouted.
It was exclusive content for this show.
Hell-
UFC 308 this weekend. Can't wait. Watch party 1:45 Eastern right here. See you then.